Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Good morning and welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
What up?
What's up, dude?
Coop, I see some people behind you driving in golf carts. Is that a live Zoom background you have going on, or is that the real deal?
No, it's a green screen. I just got tired of being in Boston, so set up the green screen behind me, see if I could get that Florida feel.
Every 45 seconds, we're going to see the same golf cart drive the same speed past you in the background over and over and over again the whole show.
We'll have to see.
Beautiful.
It's pretty realistic, though, no?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I haven't seen a single out of place pixel the whole time. Must have been a high quality green screen.
It's pretty high quality screen, and also there's a thing where a guy goes in that bunker every once in a while and starts cursing. So look forward to that.
Yeah, when you turn around, we can hear you real good.
That's part of the green screen. It's part of the ambiance.
As an avid Weather Channel fan that I know you are, I would expect nothing but the highest quality green screens.
Yeah, big Weather Channel guy. You're right.
There's a front coming in right here. See, they even loaded up the sound of the golf carts.
Have you ever wanted to be a weatherman?
You know, that's the thing, dude. It's like, growing up, people that are football fans often want to be football players, but me, I'm just a fan of the game. So I never really wanted to be a weatherman myself. I enjoy the showmanship. I enjoy being
you like it. You enjoy consuming.
I'm a consumer. Yeah, I really enjoy a good thunderstorm in person, but I wouldn't want to take away from that trying to analyze it.
Oh, I love thunderstorms.
Speaking of thunderstorms, last night we're just sitting there enjoying dinner. Then all of a sudden we hear plink, 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 and then
what's
all of a sudden
it
sounds like there's thousands of nickels being thrown from every direction at every object. It was hail like I have never seen
Texas
before.
hail.
There was wind blowing too, so when I looked out the window, it wasn't just coming down; it was going sideways every direction as well, and they were ricocheting off each other. Let's see, I got a picture of just like some of the after pile of it.
Do you guys get hail? Because we don't really get hail in Boston. Really?
Oh, we get hail.
I don't know if you can see all those white spots are just hail, and it was 90 degrees in Texas today.
Simon, it looked like a puzzle on top of a side table.
Yeah, I took it down quickly because I realized it wasn't translating via screen via camera, but
send it to Keith.
It was nuts. It was absolutely bonkers.
Maybe if you text it to Keith, he'll put it up for you.
We got Dr. Big in the chat.
Dr. Big.
Why nickels and not quarters or dimes? Oddly specific. You know the plink of a nickel.
Oddly specific.
A nickel's got the thickness of a quarter, but it doesn't have the size of a quarter. So it definitely hits
nickels
harder.
Are thick boys.
They're thick boys. What's up, Big? Welcome in. Good morning. We got some other people in the chat as well. Hal in here. What's up, Hal? Good morning, my friend. Hal? We got Better Boss Matt in the chat with the woohoo.
Woohoo.
Oh God, Matt, it was a little too early for a woohoo.
I could feel that one come out of you, Simon. Like halfway through, you started to regret it.
Yeah,
I can't stop thinking now about how flimsy dimes are. Like they really don't feel as valuable as they are. Right? They should swap.
Yeah, who made this decision? Let's make it bigger, way bigger, and then a little smaller, much smaller.
Just to throw
and
them
then
off.
way the biggest.
I bet here's what happened. They designed the nickel first and then realized, oh shoot, we're running low on metal. We got to make this next one smaller.
You think it would just follow a progression though? Like penny would be the smallest, then the nickel, then the dime.
Yeah, then you could just
it's a reading comprehension thing.
God, that doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever now.
Right? It seems random.
Let's call up the guy in charge of money size.
Less girth.
Less girth. Is that his name?
Les is also a name. So I thought you were saying that the guy in charge of money size is named Les Girth. First name Les, last name
Les
Girth.
Girth.
LES space Girth.
Now that I'm down here in Florida, I'll check in with DeSantis and see if he can fix it when he's president.
No, thank you.
That's okay.
We got
an update from the producer. Fact check here said the dime used to be made of silver, and the nickel used to be made of nickel. At the time, they would try to get the actual worth of the metal in the coin close to, but slightly less than the value of the coin.
That makes sense. Oh my God, look at you, Keith, knowing stuff.
And now it's just representative. Now our money just stands for something.
Yeah.
You gotta believe that's fiduciary, baby.
Dude, that's fiduciary, baby.
That's gonna be. Is that a good catchphrase? That'd be my new catchphrase.
Nailed it.
That's fiduciary.
We got Tommy in here with a morning poem for us. Tommy said, in NCAA hoops, Antoine Davis did something pretty neat, just 4 points shy of the record set by old Pistol Pete. Edge rusher Nolan Smith dominates the combine faster than Barkley and Chubb. He ran a 4.39. This tight end is, I messed that delivery up. This tight end is good, but could he be great? Will there be a market for Bucks Cameron Brate? Bruins score 100 points at a new record speed. The team is just a bear and what we all need. Meanwhile, at the Garden, the audible level was insane when the Rangers took the ice and introduced Patrick Kane. Bruins versus Rangers tomorrow at 1. Not sure who will win, but it is going to be fun. Jeez, Tommy, just executing and executing and executing.
Dang.
Rhyme after rhyme after rhyme.
The answer is the Bruins will win. Everyone knows that, but it should be a good game.
Caps are in it?
The Caps are out. Definitively.
Damn it.
The Caps decided to sell off guys. They sold Dmitry Orlov to the Bruins. They also sold another player that I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, the Caps are doing a little bit of a bridge year. But the Rangers, they went out and bought basically a whole line of the 2015 All-Star team. And these guys can still play, but they're a little bit past their prime. They're looking for cups. We went and got Vladimir Tarasenko and Patrick Kane, 2 guys that are still stars in this league. So the Rangers are not playing around. And that's hockey talk.
And that's hockey talk.
All the hockey talk we got today.
Dustin always misses. The only person in the chat that wants to talk about hockey with me is Dustin. He always misses it.
And Jay would be down for hockey talk with you as well. But he's also asleep right now.
Or he's awake and he's 20 minutes behind like he always is. I guess he can only be 8 minutes behind right now. So Jay, 8 minutes from now.
He's just sitting there waiting for the stream to start.
Yeah. Patiently.
It's because his internet's so slow. It takes an extra 20 minutes for everything to get there.
Yeah. And the Cameron Brate news also, while we're talking about Tommy's poem here, that annoys me to no end because they came out and they were like, oh, we're cutting Donovan Smith and we're cutting Leonard Fournette. So I'm going to write my Bucks article, and I'm like, okay, Cameron Brate is safe here. They just decided they're cutting these guys. They're not cutting these guys because I was like, oh, Cameron Brate could get cut, but they didn't announce it, so he's probably not getting cut. And then for some reason, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're also cutting Cameron Brate after I wrote the article. So now I got to go in and edit that.
Classic.
Ha ha. Classic off-season guffaw.
They misdirected
Guffaw.
me. They guffawed me.
Such a good word. It is that time of morning, everybody. I hope you brought something to munch on because it is BYOB. Bring your own breakfast. We brought the stories. We brought the topics. You just got to bring a little something to chew on. Joe, you got anything to chew on this morning?
The water.
Coop?
I'm sure I got a coffee coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at my parents, dude. So we're eating good. I couldn't decide what bagel to have, so I had half of 2 different bagels. A cinnamon raisin bagel and a egg bagel.
Ooh,
pretty wild stuff. And I have a chocolate milk, and now I have a coffee from one of my favorite local places, the Over Easy Cafe on Sanibel Island, which I unfortunately do not know if it's still around or not. A lot of places down there
R.I.P.
got hit hard with the hurricane. Mom, is it still around? She don't know. Okay. We'll have to check on that.
Keith, check it out.
Open.
Keith, Google.
Over Easy Cafe. Get down there. Boots on the ground.
Yeah, no Googling. I need to see you in front of there, Keith. You got to call in live from the Over Easy Cafe on the island where Coop really likes to go.
And We'll know if it's a green screen, okay?
Yeah,
we can tell clearly, as we did with Coop today, even with the highest quality of green screen.
One of the best.
Because I wanted to start us off this morning with some drama related to JL's favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens. In a now deleted tweet, Rashod Bateman came out yesterday and said, "How about you play to your player's strength and stop pointing the finger at us in number 8? Blame the one you let do this. We take heat 24/7 and keep us healthy. Care about us and see what happens. Ain't no promises, though. Tired of y'all lying and capping on players for no reason." And then this was in response to general manager Eric DeCosta coming out and saying, in response to if they had problems drafting wide receivers, he said, "If I had an answer, that would probably mean I would have some better receivers. We're going to keep swinging. There have been some guys that have been successful players for us that were draft picks. We've never really hit on that all-pro type of guy, which is disappointing, but it's not for a lack of effort. It's one of those anomalies that I really can't explain other than to say that we're not going to stop trying. We're going to keep swinging, and hopefully at one of these points, we're going to hit the ball out of the park." So Eric DeCosta coming out, that statement kind of saying, none of our drafted wide receivers have worked out, and Bateman did not take kindly to that.
Whoa. That is spicy.
Yeesh. Man, I could see why Rashod Bateman reacted that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, you could see why?
Yeah. I can see why. I can understand.
For the rest of us, why do you think that is?
Yeah, said something mean. Because you got mean stuff said about you, you get a little upset.
I mean, it wasn't just Bateman, like all those dudes. Marquise
It's
Brown,
also just not wrong, like not correct fully, because Marquise Brown was a successful draft pick. Rashod Bateman will likely be a successful draft pick.
Marquise Brown catching strays from across the country. I mean, according to Eric DeCosta, traded Marquise Brown away, so maybe he doesn't think Marquise Brown was a good pick.
I mean, his point still stands. Like neither Rashod Bateman nor Marquise Brown are of the Devontae Adams level currently.
Well, unfortunately, how many guys are at the Devontae Adams level?
That's my point, though, and that might be the point he's making, is that they haven't hit on that big marquee guy, but doesn't mean that they haven't had, smaller wins.
But they did hit on that big Marquise guy.
They did hit on that big Marquise guy. Yeah, you're right.
If you make it plural.
At what position have the Ravens hit on a player of that caliber? Like, do the Ravens even have any player at any position that is considered in the top 5 in the league? Mark Andrews is a good one. Yeah, but they missed on Hayden Hurst in the same draft to get to Mark Andrews.
Maybe that's the secret. Just start drafting 2 really close to each other, make it happen. I think
I'm not too worried about the miss. I'm more worried about the hit.
Eric, I just called him Eric and then forgot his last name. Eric DeCosta. Later in that same interview, he said positive things about Rashod Bateman. I do not think this was necessarily like targeted at him. I think he put his foot in his mouth pretty hard. You know what I mean? Like he should have been a little bit more vague. I feel like the normal general manager response would have been like, "Oh, like we trust our guys. We're going to keep on drafting, and we'll see what happens this offseason." Done.
Yeah.
But he let a little bit more inside, and he probably should have just shut up instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. On this one, I also want to mention one last thing that Bateman kind of snuck in there is he said keeping us healthy. Now, I was watching the show yesterday, and you guys brought up the grades that the NFLPA did a little survey. They published it themselves. I really like that idea, right? We're going to do a survey of the players, not involve the organizations at all. We're going to publish on our own website and just get that info out there. Well, in that survey, the strength and conditioning coaches, they checked what everyone's feelings were on all of them, right? And of all the teams, nobody gave their team worse than a B besides the Falcons, who gave their strength coach a D. The Ravens gave theirs a F-, which is that even a real grade?
They got fired though, right? That the strength and conditioning coaches for the Ravens were fired around the same time as Greg Roman, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, then that speaks to Rashod Bateman. He's like, get somebody in here who knows how to work us out and keep us healthy.
100%. I think Rashod Bateman's frustrations are unbelievably valid, not just in him, but in those other complaints as well. And hopefully, with a new offensive coordinator coming in, those shots at the offense, not using them the way they want, they'll have someone new to take care of that. Shots at the strength and conditioning, that coach was fired as well. They'll have someone new in there to take care of that. So it seems like this Ravens organization is well aware of all of the problems that Rashod Bateman brought up here. You know what I mean? They're not like, you feel like we're not using you well? They fired Greg Roman to bring in somebody with a completely different offensive style. They know their players aren't being used properly, right? He brings up the strength and conditioning. Well, they fired that coach. They're bringing someone new, and they know that their players were getting injured too commonly. They weren't keeping them healthy. So I don't think anybody's too mad. I'm surprised he deleted it.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised too.
I don't know, man. Like anytime you start getting a little heat, sometimes you just feel like, all right, I'm getting rid of that. I don't want to deal with it because he would have just got retweeted and quoted all day long.
Yeah. I see Craig in here. What's up, Craig? Good morning. He said this Ravens team is going the way of Poe. Its current team will be nevermore.
Boo.
Boo.
Wow.
I was just supporting JL. NKC in here says good morning.
Ravens.
What's up, NKC? Welcome in, my friend.
Now, when I see the comments did you guys see the recent comments from John Harbaugh?
No, I did not.
So they had him at the combine, and they actually got him. I don't know if it was a scheduled press conference or what, but he was up there on the podium with a bunch of mics. And I mean, this guy he was basically just saying, our entire offense is playing around Lamar Jackson. We expect to have Lamar Jackson. So it seems like he, at the very least, is separating himself from the financial decisions, where he's saying, hey, you know what? If it's up to me, we have him here. I'm planning on having him here. Hope he's here. So I don't know. It's interesting because it goes hand in hand with some comments we saw before when they were looking for the offensive coordinator, where they said, oh, Lamar Jackson, he's going to have some say in who we bring in. That, to me, sounds like it's just a matter of time. But then when you hear things from Lamar Jackson's camp, they're just like, it's not like that. So I don't know. Do you guys, if you had to assign a 1 to 10 confidence level, with 1 being he's definitely gone and 10 being he's definitely back, kind of where would you fall on that scale?
5.
Wow. So you really think that it's up in the air, really, to a.
I think it could go either way.
Yeah, my mind changes almost daily on what I think is going to happen. I feel like some days I'm like, nah, he's got to go back. Without a doubt, he's back in Baltimore. How could they let a player like that walk? And then other days I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, I don't see how they get to a deal. Like, they come out and Lamar says it has to be fully guaranteed, or his camp says that. And the Ravens say, we're not guaranteeing anything over the offer that we already put in front of you. Well, where's the move? Someone's got to budge.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens will budge most likely, but
I think they should.
Maybe I'm not a 5. Maybe I'm more of like a 6. But it's still pretty close.
Although I did like how you guys both said 5 at the same time.
Yeah, it was kind of cute.
Yeah,
it was a little bit cute.
Also,
Coop, we have an update. Over Easy is temporarily closed by Google designation.
Over Easy is temporarily closed, but coming back. Hell yeah.
Is it but coming back with absolutely no information
Coop,
indicating
I don't want to scare you.
Shout out.
But one of my favorite restaurants ever in Atlanta closed during the pandemic. And on Google, it always said temporarily closed. Temporarily closed.
Smoothie King and Fells Point for me. Same thing, Simon.
Well, I went back and it did reopen, but it was purchased by new management while it was temporarily closed. And they completely changed the menu and everything.
Different thing happened. Smoothie King just closed on my end.
It wasn't the same anymore. It was almost worse than if it had just closed, because my last memory with it wasn't like the experience that I enjoyed.
Mom, Simon says that temporary close doesn't mean that they're definitely coming back. I just want to make sure she got a heads up. She said, yeah, I know.
She's
all right, guys. That's sad news that was made even sadder by your anecdotes.
By our anecdotes. Well, did you guys see that the Jaguars expected to tag Evan Ingram? 11.34 million.
That's my boy, and I got a couple takes on this one. One, it's obviously nice. You know, it's hard to complain about $11 million guaranteed, right? Like, that's locked in. He gets that no matter what, as long as he signs on. From an NFL standpoint, it's a great move by the Jaguars. Like, he played well for them, solved their problem at tight end. They bring their tight end back. But for Ingram himself, I look around at some of the best wide receivers. A lot of them are slot wide receivers that give you very similar production to Evan Ingram with worse blocking, right? And it'd be one thing if it was like, okay, Evan Ingram gets $11 million, but Jacoby Myers gets like 12, 13 million, right? But Jacoby Myers is expected to get like 15, 20 million, right? So what does Jacoby Myers really do that Evan Ingram can't do? What does Alan Lazard do that Evan Ingram can't do? Right? So to me, I look at it, I'm like, why is this guy getting 10 million when these guys are about to get double that? It kind of stinks. And the fact that it's obvious that the tight end market is set incorrectly when you see all the tight ends that keep getting franchise tagged and keeps that number artificially low. Like if guys like Dalton Schultz and Mike Gesicki were actually allowed to hit the free agent market, like David and Njoku were allowed to hit the market last year, then they would have got bigger contracts, and then the franchise tag number would have been higher. But because they got tagged last year at 10 million, there's nobody really getting paid high enough money for the franchise tag to go up. It's like this system of just tagging tight ends and keeping that value deflated. It kind of stinks for tight ends, man. Someone's got to speak up for them.
Someone's got to.
Coop's like the Lorax of tight ends.
The tight end Lorax. Yeah, I speak for the tight ends, even though they have tongues and a wider audience than I have.
Dude, what a noble man.
This is 100% Mike Gesicki's fault, is what I'm saying. He should have.
I can get behind that.
If anyone could have fought that tag, right? If anyone could have been like, I played 90% of my snaps at wide receiver, it should have been him last year, and he didn't do it.
He should have just grittied out of the contract negotiations right on out of there with the world's worst gritty.
He did gritty out of it. Now no one can fight it because he played that season where he legit had 90% of his snaps were at wide receiver, and then he didn't fight the franchise tag. So now no one can basically ever fight.
Yeah, Mike.
Damn it,
Get
Mike.
it together. But
You
from a
ding-dong.
fantasy perspective, are you excited about Evan Ingram being back in Jacksonville, or does the addition of Calvin Ridley maybe make it less enticing because he's not a guaranteed top 2 target?
You said it right there, man. You said it right there. So to be a top 5 tight end in fantasy football, you need 2 things. Are you kidding me? My dad just stepped on my light. You need either 90 targets or you need 10 plus touchdowns, right? So you need one or the other. Every top 5 tight end in PPR, going back to Randy McMichael in 2003, has gotten either 90 targets or 10 plus touchdowns. And the vast majority of them got there with the 90 targets. It's fairly rare to get 10 touchdowns. Kittle did this year. The year before that, nobody did. There's only so many guys that have gotten – there's less than 5 guys that have gotten 10 touchdowns without 90 targets. So the target's the most important thing. When you look at these teams that have 3 or more pass catchers, it's very rare for all 3 of them to get over 90 targets. Ingram did it last year, but now when you throw Ridley in that mix, it makes it so much more difficult. And even if it does happen, the week-to-week inconsistency kills you in fantasy football. So even though Ingram's my boy, like arguably my favorite player, in this situation, I'm probably going to have to fade him at ADP. It's just the rules are the rules, right?
Craig in the chat said Coop on the status of tight ends in fantasy. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows. Sorry, I'm not going to do the lyrics again. I think I've already done that.
How much of the Lorax do you know?
A good chunk of it.
Coop has the entire Lorax memorized.
I mean, dude, it's part of being a tight end guy. Like, if you're trying to analyze tight ends and you don't know at least half the Lorax, I'm not sure how you're going to be able to compete.
The Lorax was a tight end, without a doubt, before he retired into what he's doing.
What position did the Onceler play?
Did the what?
The Onceler? That was the guy that was making the needs. He was the guy cutting down all the trees.
I'm trying to look him up, and apparently I don't know how to spell it so much that I can't even find a single image of it. So
it's the word once and then L-E-R.
Oh, I had Wentzler, like Carson Wentz.
Wentzler, the Carson Wentzler.
The Carson Wentzler.
Meh.
So he's a backup quarterback.
Oh, you can never. He just is inside of like a cart, and you only see his arms. Is that who the Wentzler is?
In the book, you really only ever see his arms, but in the movie, he's an actual like character. It seems.
I don't know. Roger Goodell.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That probably makes sense just thematically.
He's exactly right.
Don't say thematically.
Mine is thematically. Coop's is judiciarily. What'd you say?
Motifally.
No, and yours is Marqueely. That's the best word you've used so far today. This show. Marquee. I forgot how that word worked for a second.
There you go.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, because I do the yin yang tight end, where you draft one safe tight end, and then you pair him with an upside tight end. Ingram goes from the upside side to the safe side now, where he's a guy at the right ADP. You could take him and start him early in the season, but I'm going to still be looking for somebody that can be a top 2 target on their team, can lead their team in targets, and has higher upside, even if they're less safe. So for me, if I wait on tight end, maybe I take Ingram, start him week 1, but I also draft like Chig Okonkwo as like my upside guy.
Or one of Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy takes a vow of silence and becomes a monk, and then it opens right up for Greg Dulcich to be a top 2 target on that team.
Classic monk path.
And I mean, they got the orange already. And just swap it out for a robe. We can make it happen, guys. Get those targets for Greg Dulcich, please.
I know. We want it, man, because he has, when you look at the everything else besides his spot in the pecking order, it's all exactly what you want to see. Converted wide receiver, running high A-dot routes, so he's actually getting downfield, which is what has killed guys like Higbee and Tyler Conklin. Like, if this guy finds a way to be a top 2 target on that team, he could be one of the greats.
Absolutely. Speaking of one of the greats, it sounds like there's another player at the NFL Combine that teams are starting to get excited about. Potential new great. This is coming from Corbin Smith, saying that the buzz surrounding Anthony Richardson this week is palpable. He's truly gone from a first-round curiosity to a likely top 3 selection. So you may very well see quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3 in this draft. And then just to further add on to that, the Panthers Wire tweeted out that ESPN's Matt Miller said he's getting a sense that the Panthers are all in on University of Florida QB Anthony Richardson. So there's this buzz that he's going to be the 3rd pick overall. 3 quarterbacks, 1, 2, 3, and now a specific team coming out from from an ESPN source saying they're all in on this player who is maybe considered a first-round pick prior to the Combine.
Did somebody take that first tweet and just copy and paste a Malik Willis tweet and just put Anthony Richardson in there instead? Because that's like, I swear that's exactly what we heard about Anthony Richardson last year before he fell all the way to the 3rd round.
Malik Willis.
Yeah. Talk about Malik Willis. Yeah. It's like the same. And not to mention, I've seen a number of people like Daniel Jeremiah, for instance, his write-ups of Anthony Richardson are nearly identical to the ones about Anthony Richardson, the Malik Willis and Anthony Richardson comparison. Not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of that out there, and that has me a little bit worried.
The one thing I will say is it felt like Malik Willis's peak of how he was viewed by the media and people talking about his draft stock was early in the season, and it kept a continuous kind of downward trajectory. Like going into the draft, I feel like we got some smoke screens, but there were also people coming out and saying he's not going to get drafted early. I believed the hype. I believed that he was going to go there, but I have distinct memories of like, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know if he's going to go this early. There's talks that teams just aren't interested, that he never has the tool set to be a franchise quarterback. With Anthony Richardson, since about halfway through the season, I feel like all of the reports have been positive about his stock increasing, right? Like it's a trajectory thing, because I agree. I remember these kind of tweets about Malik Willis, but I'm also remembering people like saying, hey, hold up. There are NFL GMs, there are NFL scouts saying this guy does not have what it takes to make it in the NFL. And I haven't seen that from like scouts or NFL teams on Anthony Richardson since his hype started growing.
JL, you in or out on Anthony Richardson?
I'm not making that assertion right now.
Got to be in or out, dude.
No, not in or out. I'm believing that he's going to go top 3. I'm not saying anything about if I think he's going to be good or not. I'm saying I'm believing the hype coming out, and I'm believing that he'll be that at least top 5 pick.
Do you think he'll be a top 5 pick, JL?
Yes.
And Coop, are you taking?
I don't know. I just said an answer.
I think I want to take no on that. I don't know. I hear a ton of this stuff, and you never know whether it's a smokescreen or not. You never know if it's like them trying to trick other teams, because like the Panthers picking that perfect spot where if you can trick just one other team, now you get the guy you want. So I don't know. It's so hard to trust it.
I'm just thinking how much fun it would be to sit in that room and be part of the team of people coming up with the tricks you're going to do. Like, who are we trying to trick and how are we going to trick them? Like, we want the Panthers, so we really want to draft Anthony Richardson, but we want the Panthers to think that we don't want to draft him. How do we accomplish this sneaky goal?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Jones has been kind of doing – his comments have been like – I think he like talked too much and then had to backtrack to just make sure it was still on the table to trick people. He came out and was like, running back is hard to have a guy that lasts for 10 years. And then the same conversation, he goes, we only use our early picks on guys that last for 10 years. And then the very next day he came out and was like, just so you guys know, running back is still on the table at pick 26. Like, I think he realized that he was like, I think I gave away too much info yesterday, so I just want to come back and put it on record that you guys should keep drafting running backs, okay?
Well, and here's the fun part now, Coop. I can push back and say, or was it a double smoke screen? Is he playing us all to make us think that he's dumb and like came out and said too much? But really, it was just trying to get people off the trail. And with the correction, he's making sure that people think they believe the other one. But really, it's all just a smoke screen.
Ooh, the double screen. So where does it end up? Does it end up on them wanting Bijan Robinson or not wanting?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not very good at interpreting, but I think we got a double smoke screen going on here.
So let's see. Him saying he doesn't want a running back, and then he comes out and says that they might take one, then the double smoke screen would be that they don't want one. So I think that's where I think it would need to go all the way to triple smoke screen for them to then draft Bijan.
Okay. And then at quadruple, I think they draft Bijan twice.
And trade him immediately to a team they hate.
But just one version of him. Somehow they figured out the cloning process.
Dude, if you could draft 2 Bijans, that'd be the best pick in the draft. He would go first overall.
Someone just stands up on the stage and says, I draft 2 Bijan Robinsons.
And everybody clapped.
And you see them run up like the classic, like 2 kids in a suit with one on top of the shoulders, but it's now like 9.5 foot tall, just hulking man on stage.
Yeah. And then Goodell goes to like, he's not sure whether to give him a handshake or like a high five, like he always does. So he just gives him like the most awkward 2-handed like slap.
The loose dap. There's nothing worse than like the limp dap where there's no like that grosses me out just doing it to myself.
I swear now he must like talk to them beforehand nowadays. I think he does because last year it was a lot more smooth. I remember in the past it was such a mess. And at one point I think it was one of the Pouncey brothers. They almost kissed on the lips. There's like a famous picture of them like this close to each other because they didn't know what they were doing. So I think now they coordinate a little more. But it was a lot more fun when it was just a free for all.
Now I'm imagining every potential drafted player at the NFL draft has to meet at DAP practice beforehand, very similar to like a graduation dry rehearsal or something where you go in. But now it's just Roger Goodell standing up front and one by one they call up each individual player and he like, oh wait, no, okay, run that one back. It wasn't cool enough.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, what are you thinking, dude? Should we put the chain on it?
Tommy in here said, no way Anthony Richardson goes top 5. Says it's too high, too many defensive studs in this draft. Might not even be a top 5 QB drafted. I hear you, but if there's one position that it doesn't matter how strong all of the other positions are, if enough steam gets rolling, quarterbacks can go high, man. Zach Wilson can go up there in those first couple picks. Who are some other like Trey Lance recently, though? I'm not going to call him a bust yet, but we haven't seen it from Trey Lance yet.
But you're right. That's like a classic example of a steam pick where like there was enough smoke around this guy who didn't even play at the highest level and didn't really even get that many reps in college. Like the smoke around him is what elevated him to the point where he would go in the first round. Right.
If CJ Stroud and Bryce Young were not in this draft class and Anthony Richardson was the best quarterback, I would have zero confidence in saying that I think he's going to be a top 5 pick. Those guys kind of building up the value of the quarterback position in general by almost guaranteeing that they go 1 and 2. That means after 2 picks, you're already onto the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. That creates a sense of urgency for these teams that want him, right?
Yeah.
He's the next guy because there's also reports that no one at the Combine is talking about Will Levis. I forget who I saw tweet that yesterday. It was someone who was out there at the Combine who said, no one's talking about Will Levis here. So Anthony Richardson might be separating himself as the number 3 quarterback, at least according to reports coming out of Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think he seemed like the kind of guy where the CJ Stroud and Bryce Young were locked in, and Will Levis used to show up at the combine and crush his interviews and crush everything else to get it done.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a very realistic green screen. It even comes with lawnmower sound effects and everything.
Yeah, I was hoping you guys would be able to hear those, to speak to the quality. So I think I might need to take a break here and see if I can adjust this. The screen, I think it's a little loud.
Because you spent so much. A little loud. You just spent so much extra on the one that included sound effects. With the weather, it makes sense. You get a clap of thunder when you say thunder. It shows the lightning when you say lightning. But when you said it's a golf course, the noises are less exciting.
Yeah, and
you get a golf ball through the window once an hour.
That's the thing about golf courses. They mow the lawn in the morning, and everybody knows that, so they would never knowingly set up their podcast in front of a golf course, knowing that the lawn would probably be mowed in the morning. So, but it's a green screen, so
it works. It works. We got Albert in the chat saying, "Good morning, everyone." Good morning, Albert. Welcome in, my friend.
What up, Albert?
Speaking of the combine, I wanted to talk a little bit about Georgia edge rusher Nolan Smith's 40 time. We mentioned yesterday that we really don't care too much about some of these numbers, some of these times, unless they're incredibly fast or incredibly slow. And Nolan Smith, edge rusher out of Georgia, ran a 4.3940, faster than DeAndre Hopkins, faster than Stephon Diggs.
Is that faster than Saquon?
It's faster than Saquon and faster than Chubb, as Tommy said in his rhyme there. And this dude is a defensive lineman, an edge rusher.
That's
damn. Nolan, how you want to be on Ravens?
They should see if he wants to play tight end.
How big is he? How tall is this guy?
Probably huge.
Nolan Smith. But I feel like we're starting to see this. This feels like it used to be very rare, but in the past couple of years, we've had a couple of these fast kind of linebacker, defensive lineman, hybrid type players. I don't know if that's how he wants to be used in the NFL, but Isaiah Simmons comes to mind as another player that was fast. And I believe he ran a sub 4.4. He's a linebacker, but maybe a similar type of role in defenses. Maybe these kind of players are becoming more essential to NFL defenses.
Jay, I think you're muted.
Blah.
Oh, is that what you said?
That's what I was going to say. Now I got to take a different take.
No, I agree with Simon. I think defensive end, good position. Pretty important.
Okay, I found the stat I was looking for. Just in the past 2 years, or in 2020 and 2021, there were 4 linebackers, defensive ends, or edge rushers to run 4.4 or faster. We've got Owe, Micah Parsons, Isaiah Simmons, and Amari Barno. Montez Sweat was close for in a 4.41. And now we've got now you can add Nolan Smith into that group with the 4.39 as a defensive lineman.
That's crazy. And you know who should be more fired up?
So Craig, with some clarification for me. Before he is edge doesn't mean defensive line. He was mainly a stand-up outside linebacker. My apologies. I saw DL listed on another tweet.
But the thing is, there's enough. Basically, the way it works is if you're good enough, then any team drafts you and they just figure out a way to incorporate you into the scheme. So if you run a 3-4, then you play outside linebacker. If you run a 4-3, then you just play defensive end, right? It's if you're that good, then they figure out how to work you in there. And basically, you're rushing the passer anyway, so it to a certain degree doesn't matter, So if he's that good, then he can do either. But at 6'3", 235, I think that's maybe a little light to play defensive end. So I think it's a good point that he probably fits best into a 3-4.
That's a fast man.
And the person that should be most pumped about this is Kirby Smart, because did you see what he did immediately afterwards?
No.
Here were his quotes. Right after he ran that 40, the reporters had to go over and be like, let's go ask this guy. Here's what he says. he starts talking about it, and then he immediately pivots to talking about Georgia. And he goes, our locker room is amazing. You see the 3 TVs? If you ever want to go to Georgia, we've got a new locker room, new weight room. Let me give my spiel on Georgia. We have an indoor facility, outdoor facility. We just put a brand new restaurant. Let me say that again, a restaurant. It's called Bones. It's amazing. Shout out to Miss C, our nutritionist. She's amazing. We eat steak, lobster, the best of the best. Go Dogs, go to Georgia.
The Arizona Cardinals players are about to pack up and go back to college after hearing that report. They get gym and food. Kyler Murray's like, what the hell, man? I make millions of dollars and I don't even have a restaurant. I don't even have a treadmill that I can use for free.
Paying for a box of Lunchables to take with him.
Every single time.
Yeah, that's wild, man. But hey, good for him. Good for him.
I forgot who we were talking about.
We're talking about Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith, for 1 second. JL, he had something important to say. I saw him talking, but I didn't get to hear it. And that's
I
all
didn't say anything.
Just moved your lips up and down. Tommy in the chat said, and they won't even let me play video games. What the hell? Yeah. Kyler Murray, he gets a bad rap. You know, after hearing all this stuff from the Cardinals side, what they're going through, I think I'm a little bit more on Kyler Murray's side. I'm a little bit more forgiving of any of the annoyances or transgressions that he's had with the team recently, because it doesn't sound like that team's doing much to keep their players happy or invested. Why should he buy into them when they can't even buy into him working out in the offseason?
Yeah.
Like he owes that team nothing with what they're doing for them.
They did give him a lot of money though. So there's that part.
Yeah, but if they didn't, somebody else
And then they
would
took some away.
for a box to lunch.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I would have negotiated in my contract that I get as much. I get as many workouts as I want. I get as many
free lunch.
It's the workout room. Free lunch. Yeah. You got to get that in there. Yeah. Did you guys see that Bijan Robinson said he's going to come out and do pretty much everything at the combine? And he said what you want to hear, especially me as a analyst. Like, I don't want these guys to skip the drills. I want to know the 40 time. I want to know what they're benching. I want to know the broad jump. He says he's a competitor. He wants to come out here and compete. He wants to put up the best numbers and be the best he can be. So kind of interesting. What do you guys think? A guy like this, he's already locked in as the top RB. So maybe he's trying to increase his draft stock 5-6 spots or whatever. Do you think it's worth it?
He's trying to get that top 5 capital. He's trying to get that Saquon type capital. And I just don't think it's going to happen in this draft. I don't think it's worth it, man. He's probably a first-round pick regardless. Just let it sit. You got a lot more room to fall than you've got to go up.
That's a good way to put it.
That's true. And I mean, we've seen guys, knock on wood, we've seen guys get hurt working out either like around the time of the combine or at the combine. So just hope that if there's any issues, he can easily just say, you know what, I'm done. You know, I've showed enough. He already has shown enough.
That being said, I guess we've seen backs like Jonathan Taylor go in the second round recently, right? This could be him saying, I'm not being a second round back. I want to be a first round running back. I want to go in that first round. And here, I'm going to show you why you should do it. I'm going to make it stupid for a team not to grab me once we get into those 15, 20, 25 range.
And that's not a bad move, honestly.
It's he's putting the ball in his own court. He's saying, watch me, watch what I can do. I would probably not. I'd be too nervous for here's your chance, do great or mess up something great that's already going to happen. I'm probably just taking the something great. But I understand and I love that drive to put that on the line to risk an even higher draft spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope it works for him because seems like a good dude.
Did you guys see the snap yesterday of Aaron Rodgers news regarding another team? Adam Schefter reported on on NFL Live that the Panthers have called Green Bay about Aaron Rodgers. But then only a couple hours later, very quickly, Sheena Quick tweeted out that NFL sources confirmed that the Panthers have not contacted the Green Bay Packers about Aaron Rodgers. But now all I can think about is Aaron Rodgers in a Panthers uniform, and it is weird, man. It just doesn't work.
I don't like it.
If he was unhappy in Green Bay, you think he's going to be happy in Carolina? There's no way.
He likes to be. No, I don't think so. No.
It's all up to Frank. If Frank Reich can convince him, though, that's what matters. You know, it's really about. I think it's really going to end up being about that with Aaron Rodgers. Like, will the coaching staff kind of let him do what he wants to do?
Yeah, what's the pitch going to be to come to Carolina though? DJ Moore and
Terrace Marshall.
Terrace, MF, and Marshall.
Yeah, dude.
They'll say they'll just keep showing footage of CMC over and over and over again, and hope that Aaron Rodgers wasn't paying enough attention to know that CMC isn't on the Panthers anymore.
Wow, that guy looks good.
He looks pretty fast. What's his name? Oh, that's just the new running back. He'll be here for sure. Yeah, he'll definitely be at camp when you show up, Aaron.
Yeah, they got some work.
Don't worry about it.
They could use that team could use another wide receiver. They could use a running back, and they could use a tight end. Like,
which one's the most important?
Everything else that they also need. Like that team, I don't know why he would go to that team. I think that team needs to take a big step back and build up with a quarterback and offensive line and all that, and then go for all that stuff later on. Right now, it's like, if they don't get a guy like Rodgers or Derek Carr, I don't see why you would go for a running back, right?
No. But we've seen teams do sillier things than that before.
Sure. It's like, think about the Lions. Like, by the time the Lions are actually competing, they have to pay DeAndre Swift. Same with the Giants, right? The Giants now, they drafted Saquon Barkley at 4 overall, didn't win a thing. And then now that they actually have a good coach and are potentially competing, now they have to pay him a bunch of money. So you got to wait on that position. Of all the positions, that's what you wait on. I could see them going after a tight end. That would be smart because tight ends do play for a long time, for the most part.
Yeah. There was one other piece of news coming out of the combine that I wanted to hit on here. Not as exciting. We're going to talk some more combine a little bit later with someone who might have been there. But this isn't a player or a current player or a player that's participating in the combine. It's a former NFL player who's visiting the combine. Von Miller is there with the goal of wanting to become an NFL GM. Did you guys see this? He had some pretty interesting quotes. He came out and said, I don't have any experience. I know what a great football team looks like. I know what a winning football team looks like. A great staff, great equipment guys, great athletic trainers. I know what that looks like. I know what it takes to build those teams, but that's it. So I'm here to meet with guys, for the guys to give me instructions on what to do with my right foot next and what to do with my left foot next, and make the first steps to making this happen. Saying Elway was an inspiration of his for the player to GM route here. And I think that's sick. I would love to see more players, not just in coaching positions, but in these general manager positions, making the personnel decisions. A guy who's been on the other end of these hiring decisions, right? Someone who's worked with or for or like these coaches, have him up there making more of these personnel decisions would be pretty cool. So it's probably got a long way to go.
I hope this is a start of a serious path for him. Just because I think that would be cool. That we would be able to like look back in 10 years and be like, oh man, remember when Von Miller like first decided he was going to be his GM?
And then like in 10 years, we're talking about the Super Bowl roster that Von Miller like beautifully constructed, and then we can look back to March 3rd, 2023, the morning that we talked about Von Miller showing up at the NFL scouting combine, just asking questions.
History is happening right now.
Wow. We were there, guys.
Don't say anything stupid.
Yeah. And then we'll be like, oh my God.
Animal piss.
We'll be like, remember that guy Keith? Can't believe it took so long.
R.I.P.
Can't believe it took so long for him to get fired. R.I.P. Yeah, you've been a little darker.
Your sacrifice for Von Miller will never be forgotten. I don't know how he's involved in Von Miller becoming a GM, but you're a crucial step, Keith.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
We turn to Earn Dog and Hot Pasta, who we obviously still work with, and we're like, "You guys remember Keith?" And they're like, "Not really."
Jail's mom in the chat. Keith RIP jokes are right up her alley. What's up, Jail's mom? Welcome in. Glad to have you here.
What up, Ma?
Yeah, Von Miller is like always been reported to be like a really good guy that people seem to like and rally around, and a smart guy. So why not him?
I just love the videos of him like on his farm, just like being a dude. Know what I mean? Like with some chickens, and he's just chill. He's just happy. He's just like, yeah, these are my chickens. I like them, and I like to wear glasses while I feed my chickens.
He is a glasses guy. It's a good
and
look,
a hat
man.
guy.
Who's the better glasses guy, Von Miller or Matthew Slater?
Miller.
I got to look up Matthew Slater.
As a Patriots fan, I lean Slater. It's got to be Miller.
Did you guys say good morning to Albert yet?
We did say good morning to Albert.
Morning, Albert.
What's up, Albert? We can say it again. I like talking to Albert. And Tommy coming in. Tommy, there's some competitions where you just leave one out because it's so obvious they would be the clear winner. So you're just talking about second. Rodrigo Blankenship, his name is Goggles. Like, he wins best classes in the NFL. So now we're talking about second place.
Everybody's playing for second when it comes to the Blankenship.
Blankenship is just
Blankenship. You mean free agent kicker Rodrigo Blankenship?
Exactly.
That's right, dude.
You don't have to be a good.
Yeah,
you don't have to be good to have the
right.
best glasses.
Yeah, we don't.
Your argument against having the best glasses.
It was an argument. It was a question.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you had a personal vendetta against Rodrigo Blankenship being named best glasses in the NFL.
Just
Be
just
careful
a
with
question.
that. His dad will come for us.
Bring him on.
He's gonna
Think
start.
I'm scared of Goggles Senior? Nope.
Careful now. Yeah, sir. He doesn't speak for all of us. Those are
Goggles.
his words.
Goggles don't fall far from the pool, Jay.
Papa Gogs.
Papa
Gogs.
God. Look out now. Did you guys?
Papa Goggles.
One last piece I wanted to hit on. Did you guys see the NFL announce that a handful of officials are retiring?
I did see that. What was it? 4, 5, 7?
4. Yeah.
Kick him on the way out.
4.
Get Urban Meyer over there and tell him he's a long snapper or something.
To be honest, like from what I saw on like Reddit and Twitter, they are kicking Jerome Boger on the way out, which a 19-year official, and everyone's like, good.
Tom doesn't love Jerome.
All right, Jerome, stop. So it's Jerome Boger, 19-year vet. Jerry Bergman, a 21-year vet. Then you have Walt Coleman, 8-year vet. Stephen Patrick, 9-year vet. Those guys are all retiring from the game. So.
Well, congratulations on your retirement. Start knitting or something.
What do you think was the last straw for them?
The last straw was definitely they're back.
All 4 of them?
All 4 of them at once
Nice.
in unison went,
Oh,
and then they just never could get back out there on the field.
The retire sound, yes.
Tommy said the NFL telling them they needed to retire was the last straw for them.
Yeah.
That checks out as well.
Walt Coleman threw a flag, and he's like, oh, no, he feels like a tingling. And they're like, Walt, you're going to have Tommy John if you want to keep chucking these pucks. He's like, you're not going to be able to call any more pass interferences if you can't throw more than 20 yards. And he's like, I got to hang it up. Do you think it was the UCL for Walt?
The referee tore his UCL?
That's the joke.
Oh, sorry, Coop. Right over my head. I mean, here, try it again.
I'm ready this time.
They told Walt Coleman that he might need Tommy John surgery, so he retired. We got jokes. We have fun. We have fun here.
Tommy John Hama. Speaking of which, who wants to play? Weddle. You guys want to play some Weddle?
Yeah.
Let's get into our Weddle game. For those of you who have not joined us for this before, it is a lot like the word games Wordle and Quirtle, but instead of guessing words, we're going to be guessing NFL players and then getting some information about their height, their number, their position, their division, and we got to figure out who it is. Who was the first guess here today?
You do.
I did it yesterday, didn't I?
No, 2 days in a row. Ding, 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 ding.
You did it yesterday, but I said I'll come up with the letter and you come up with the player, and I said T, and you said Higgins, and I got the player I wanted anyways.
There you go.
Coop,
can't penalize you for being smart.
I'll guess T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. Okay. The division is correct. Or no, the conference is correct, but not the division. And the age is correct. So we know they're 24. They are not a wide receiver, shorter than 6'4", and their number is lower than 85. So really, this could be any 24-year-old in the AFC. Doesn't really for sure cancel out a position.
we got the one piece of information that makes this the most annoying for us, where we sit here and go, is he 24? No, he's 25. Well, no, he's old, right? No, wait, he's actually kind of young. Like, that's how this one goes. So I'm excited for it.
Where do we go next? Not a wide receiver. Do we want to pick a quarterback that's about 24, a running back that's about 24? It's probably a running back. Quarterback would have to be a short QB, but it could be a short QB.
Let's see. Najee Harris is 24, but he's AFC North.
Okay. 6'1" or lower is the height we're looking for.
In
A
the
24-year-old that's 6'1" or lower. Who's 24? Is James Cook 24? Probably not. Is Tua
he's close.
Bailey Zappi?
Mac Jones?
How tall is Mac Jones?
He's
He's
6'2".
not 6'4".
6'2".
Yeah.
But is he 6'2"? Because if he's 6'2", it would have been
Go Mac Jones.
yellow.
Yeah, do him.
Okay. Let's get him in there. Mac Jones.
Too big.
No,
6'3". But-
it is Zappy.
They're on the Patriots. It's not the right quarterback, or the position is incorrect.
Oh, sorry.
AFC East, New England is correct. Age is 24. They're shorter than 6'3". Their number is higher than 10, and they're not a quarterback or a wide receiver.
It
So
could
tight
be-
end or wide or running back.
Too
Does this
tall
class-
or too short
does
for a
this-
tight end because they'd have to be 6'1" or lower.
This classifies free agents as the players they last played for, right? Even if they're free agents
Probably.
right now. Damian
Ramondre?
Harris might be 24. Ramondre is
Damian Harris is 26.
Is he 26 already?
He was 25 last offseason.
Wow. So it could be Mondre. Mondre's second year in the league. He would have been
Try
a
it.
good prospect.
It is Ramondre Stevenson is
Yeah.
correct. Nice job, JL. New England, AFC East, running back, 6 foot, 24, and the number is 38. Man, we killed that one today.
Go
3.
Pats.
To go Bats?
I said go Pats.
Go Bats.
I thought you said go Bats.
Go Bats, dude.
Go Bats.
Is that your bad impression, JL?
It's not bad. I don't think I could do much better.
Mine was going to be more like
That's pretty
I think
good.
That's the noise they make.
It's pretty good. Maria had never seen a bat until recently
In real life or just like
in real life. And then I pointed them out to her.
How'd that go?
Fine. She thought they were birds.
I was gonna say I feel like she probably had seen a bat, just thought they were birds. Because for a long time I was seeing bats and I just thought they were birds.
Yeah.
But the bats fly like this, and the birds don't usually fly like this.
And yeah,
Like
the bats fly alone at night.
So I was out. It's like there's just a lot of night birds out tonight.
I love the Nightbirds. Guys, coming up, we're going to talk some more NFL Combine with our friend Dustin. We've got some Fast Guy Quick Time coming your way. And then we're going to play Texas Ranges as well as some Hypothetically with our friend Tim. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We have these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know how
globe.
long it took For us to get respect.
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped down the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad. Ray, I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like, it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But, Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the clear pass. You know,
yeah, there you go. Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're about to talk a little bit more NFL Combine with somebody that we had directly at the source. One of our friends, he's come on the show regularly. He's always hanging out there in the chat. Dustin is coming up with us today. For those of you that don't know Dustin, obviously haven't been hanging out in our YouTube chat over on Front Yard Fantasy. So fix that. Get to know him. He's a good guy. And he's also a contributor over at Dynasty Nerds, Dynasty Pros, and the QB List. Dustin, thanks so much for joining us, my friend.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good to see you, my friend.
How was it? How was it? Are you still there? Are you in Indy? Are you home? What's going on?
Flash those credentials, bro. Let's see some creds. Oh,
look at that. Love
it.
it.
Media right on there.
First round of press conferences are happening right now where everybody's waiting for Bryce Young to show up.
Oh, shoot. So
Very nice.
It is like you're waiting in the room for Bryce Young to walk out.
Yeah, I mean, literally the crowd is just – they staked out that podium probably at 7:30.
Wow.
It's just funny to watch. And there's 8 pieces. So they do 8 press conferences at one time. And it's I feel bad for the wide receivers who have 2 guys at their podium. And everybody's just waiting for Bryce Young.
What's your game plan? Are you tackling the big podiums like Bryce Young, or are you heading to some of the smaller podiums with the 2 guys?
I'm going to try to hit some of the smaller podiums, get some more, because you're going to ask more questions there.
Yeah.
I think the top tier guys, we know they're the top tier guys. They're not going anywhere. So I'm curious to talk to some of these, that second tier of wide receivers and quarterbacks today. Running backs will be tomorrow, and kind of pick their brains, I think get a little more info on them, see how they're feeling about things. And then we'll watch them run, watch quarterbacks and wide receivers, tight ends run tomorrow. And then running backs are on Sunday. So it's going to be exciting.
Nice. When did you get in? So it's today day 1 for you in the combine?
Yeah, I got in last night. I'm staying with my best friend, so luckily he puts me up for free, which is super nice. So today is my first day, and just enjoying it. But we have another guy for Dynasty Nerd. Steve was down here yesterday, so he wrote up some stuff on it, and we'll have some stuff coming out and be tweeting a lot today as stuff happens. And so they don't start doing on-field workouts until 1 o'clock. So there's press conferences from now until about 11. I think 11:10 is the last one.
That's awesome. Dustin, I know you, especially in Dynasty, you do a really good job of finding the deep Dynasty stashes, the guys that are on NFL rosters that maybe you can hold on to that could have value in coming seasons. So I'm really curious. You mentioned some of the second tier, third tier wide receivers, running backs that you're interested in talking to or seeing here at the Combine. Are there any names in particular that you're hunting out that you've got questions for that you want to see there on the field drills?
Yeah, I want to see some of these smaller wide receivers. There's a couple of them, like Zay Flowers is, they say 5'10". We'll see what he actually measures at. See if he can overcome that perceived disadvantage at height and see if he can, bolster his draft stock with a good 40 or a good 3-cone drill, whatever it might be. And then kind of see if there's some of these other guys falter. So JSN's not running the 40, which is the talk yesterday. So that'll be interesting when he goes up on the podium in 20 minutes or 30 minutes to see how that goes through. I'm interested just to see some of these guys, if they can produce well in a vertical jump, right? If you can jump high, you can be a red zone threat, and that'll definitely bolster your stock. Obviously, the 40 time, if you're fast, if you're a 4.3, 4.2 guy, there's talk of a guy breaking the record. We'll see. So I'm interested to see how they do. It's really, for me, this is the start of that process of seeing how they perform here. If they get a better draft grade and can get on a good team and a good fit for their skill set, I'm excited for him. So that's one thing. Pukanuka, he's on right now, so I might go over and ask him a couple questions after this. But a lot of those, I'm more interested in the running backs tomorrow, but there are a couple quarterbacks I'm interested to talk to, like Will Levis, Stetson Bennett, and Max Duggan to see kind of their head, where they're at right now as far as these guys who aren't in the top 3, but still could get a starting job. See how their interviews went, see how they go.
Who's the player that could potentially break the record? It's like somewhere in the 4.2s, right?
Yeah, he doesn't run a 4.2. The name escapes me right now because it's super. I've been up since 5:30, so I'm with you guys.
It's some obscure guy too, right?
Yeah, it's some obscure guy, and we've got cornerbacks today and safeties running 40s, so we'll see if one of them can maybe do it. They can be fast as well. You know, that's the thing with cornerbacks and safeties. They're fast, and they should be receivers. They just can't catch the ball. So.
And the record currently, I just looked it up. I couldn't find the name of the guy that they're expecting to potentially break it. I didn't realize John Ross still had the record. And now I'm remembering again why I fell in love with that man and drafted him everywhere far too long. So fast.
But it's crazy. We saw defensive linemen running 4.5s, like 300-pound guys, 350-pound guys. Like, they're just massive humans moving so much humanity at one time. I don't understand it, how it's possible.
You mean so much humanity.
Someone that could crush me should be able to catch me. Know what I mean? Like, you should be able to crush me or catch me. Oh, and Dustin heading on out of there.
It's so funny. I was on a plane yesterday watching the 40, watching the linemen and stuff run the 40s and do the drills, which is kind of bonkers stuff. Just like not being able to listen to it, just watching it. And I saw that guy, Kalijah Cansey, run his 40. And I was like, oh, that was pretty fast. And then little did I know, later, it turns out that he actually set the record for defensive tackles. He broke Aaron Donald's record. So it was very fast. But when you see these big boys moving like that, it is like a freight train.
I want to, this weekend, at some point, today, tomorrow, the next day, I want to go run a 40 because I have no frame of reference for like how fast that is. Like, I know compared to other NFL players, but I want to know, what do I run when I cross that line?
You want to superimpose your own ghost on that.
Exactly. I want to see my ghost running behind these defensive linemen, these 300-pound D linemen, and see how fast I catch up. I'm going to need to get a camera. That's the only way I'm going to be able to accurately measure it, is to like actually look at the frames whenever it goes through, but we'll make it happen. I'm going to make this happen.
I think the most disappointing part of watching that is going to be your form. Because these guys, I think these guys, a lot of these dudes are like track stars and stuff, dude. It's going to be ugly. But yeah, so that guy, Kalijah Cansey, ran a 4.67. To put that in perspective, that's faster than guys like Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry. And this guy weighs 281 pounds.
Dang.
God almighty.
Yeah. Dude,
what's up, Dustin? Welcome back.
That's a mobile home.
The guy, he ran faster than like Justin Jefferson, and he outjumped DK Metcalf in the vertical.
I'm sorry, what?
He outjumped DK Metcalf in the vertical.
A defensive lineman outjumped DK Metcalf in the vertical. Yeah, that checks out.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly.
That is insane, dude.
It's absolutely insane that guy is just out there trying to kill you if you're a quarterback.
It's got to be terrifying.
It's got to be terrifying. I mean, when you're running faster than Aaron Donald, you're out jumping DK Metcalf. Like,
is this Nolan Smith?
This
is a different guy.
Yeah, Nolan Smith. He out jumped DK Metcalf. That's crazy for a defensive guy.
Dude, is he going to be a top 10 pick?
Yeah, he was projected to go late first. He's probably going to be in the top 15 now. And so that's what's fun about the combine, is if you do well, your draft stock jumps a ton, which in the grand scheme of things, doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a couple $1 million extra pay that you're getting from going from pick 15 to 10, right? You're making a couple extra $1 million. It's crazy what can happen here. That's why the combine has gotten so big. So there is a fan experience, Simon. If you want to come out to Indianapolis, you can run the 40. You can actually program it. They actually program it. You can race anybody in the NFL history you want. So you put it out on the screen and you race them. So hop on a flight, get out to Indy, Simon.
Do you get to
racing
keep
the fridge.
footage?
No.
Damn.
I'll be here. I'll film before you, Simon.
Also, Dustin, I just wanted to talk about what a badass you are standing directly in front of the sign that says no stopping.
No stopping. Keep
Dustin,
that clear.
Dustin's like breaking
Not
the law,
me.
breaking the law.
Not me.
He's the guy standing next to the don't walk on grass sign with like the double P signs up, both feet clearly on the grass.
It's his new pro homage.
I was trying not to interfere with audio from, we got Sirius right there and CBS Sports is over there. So I was trying not to interfere with their interviews going on.
How kind of you.
Plus, Dustin, even when you're stopped, you don't stop, bro.
I
never stopping. No stopping, like it says.
Don't stop, won't stop, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing. If somebody comes over there and they're like, no stopping, just show them that you'd be like, stopping, bro. I'm grinding right now.
I never stop
right now.
I never stop. I never stop, bro.
I'll put them on Better Sports Network. Like, now you're stopping. What are you going to do?
Now you're stopping. And then they're like, now you're leaving, right?
Yep.
You're like, my path is clear. My mind is clear. My life is clear. Leave.
Yes.
And then they just look at you.
The entrance is right there. I'm past the entrance point, so I think I'm good.
Hashtag student athlete.
I was going to ask, so like I see you in the press conference room now. Whenever they're doing the on-the-field drills, what kind of access do media have to that? Are you on the field? Do you go into the stands around it?
We have a dedicated section to stand in the lower bowl, the 100. I think we're section 139 in Lucas Oil Stadium. And then we get to watch from there. So, and they do.
Can you see like Bill Belichick and stuff? All like the coaches just randomly sitting there, like with their heads down, their clipboards.
Yeah, some of them are on the field, some of them are in press boxes, some of them in other sections of the stadium. So we get to see them. You know, you run into them. So it's all here. So I don't know if you've ever been to Indianapolis. I'm in the convention center. Across the street is Lucas Oil Stadium. So it's all encapsulated there. And attached to the convention center is all the hotels. So you'll see players and GMs walk through just to get from one place to another. So you can run into people on an elevator going up to your floor to your room at night and just, ask them a question and they're there. And it's, you might see them out at dinner. So it's a nice event that it's centrally located. Everyone's here. There's no real barrier to access as far as once the media and the players, like they have their own workout room behind where they're doing press conferences, but they got to walk the same path over to the stadium that we do. So if you happen to walk next to a guy, you can talk to the guy. So I was talking to a couple of reporters who were headed up to the room last night and they're like, yeah, we were on the elevator with some of the, Dolphin staff or whoever it is. And you can kind of ask them some questions and pick their brains unofficially there. So it's fun. It's a great event. I'm looking forward to networking with some people. So Dynasty Dork Dave, I'm meeting up with him a little bit later and a couple other friends of the show. So it'll be a good time.
God, I want nothing more than to be trapped one-on-one in an elevator with Bill Belichick now, just on accident.
Oh, yeah.
Like he has no, and I'm just sitting there looking at him. I'd be so weird. I know it. I wouldn't be able to help it. Just would not be normal if it was one-on-one with Billy B.
Like, I feel like Bill Belichick somehow has like a personal like Pope mobile that like takes him around everywhere.
And the way he's riding the normal elevator.
Underground tunnels for
yeah. I mean, they got guys
everywhere.
Like guys like Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen. No one knows who they are because they're brand new and like they're just walking through and no one knows who they are. They're like, oh, that's some guy.
Oh my God! If Jonathan Gannon was on the elevator with me, shoo, shoo, shoo. You just do that and push all the buttons on it. Shoo, 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 shoo. And then as you get off on your floor 3, you go, you're fast.
Yeah. He walks in. He looks you all the way up and down, right? He's like, does his robot assessment of you.
And then you just see like this line of people on the floor holding their shins. Dan Campbell has gone through there because he's just like fighting shins and stuff. You're just like, Dan Campbell came through. Watch out.
A line of people, no kneecaps.
No kneecaps.
Now, if you're in the elevator with Bill Belichick and he, like, let's say you get in, he looks at you and gives you that look that's like, okay, I realize you want to ask me a question. Go ahead.
That look.
Yeah. That look of like, sometimes you see people and they're like, you can tell right away they're receptive to talking. What question are you throwing at?
I'm just asking him to give me his best Steve Belichick impression. That's what I'm asking for.
As Bill immediately goes all in, like mocks the hell out of Steve. It's just he practices it every night.
No, he's like, I taught him everything he knows. He's like,
That's pretty good, Dustin.
It's a master class of facial expressions, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like the light from heaven shines down on him. You're like, I didn't know this existed. It's beautiful.
We've never gotten the audio of Steve Belichick doing that, but I've never been more confident that you just did the right sound.
That's what it is.
I'm so sure he's making those noises while he does that face.
That was actual audio I got from him earlier. I just patched that in there. That's what it is. It's real audio from Steve Belichick doing his facial expressions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to getting some press conferences. And so you'll be hearing lots of stuff coming out the next hour or two as we do press conferences for the Combine. I would say there's probably 100, 150 reporters here right now, and they keep trickling in. So keep an eye out on Twitter. And you guys got any other questions about the Combine?
I got one more. Tommy's got a good one in the chat. He says, so all of the players there, who do you think can chug the 40 the fastest?
Chug a 40? Oh, I bet you a bunch of them can chug a 40. Yeah, I know I can.
Fastest 40 chug, the 40-yard chug.
Fastest 40 chug. I mean, I think Stenson Bennett's probably up there. I would assume, right? Like,
I would say, dude. He had a couple extra years in college to practice, right?
Did you guys see that report about the college athlete? I think he's a basketball player that was like missing time because he got caffeine poisoning from like chugging 5 Red Bulls at night.
I did not see that.
Caffeine poisoning. First time I've ever heard that term.
Caffeine poisoning from chugging 5 Red Bulls. He didn't say vodka and Red Bulls. He just said Red Bulls. I'll have to find that report. I think he's a basketball player at like Indiana or something like that. I saw it. I was like, wait, what?
He drank 10 vodka Red Bulls and got caffeine poisoning.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Caffeine poisoning, yes.
You gotta be open. It's like when I eat way too many cheese fries. Those potatoes always just make me shit my pants.
They get you.
It's the potatoes every time, man.
It's the potatoes, yeah.
It's the potatoes, yeah. We were talking about going to Shake Shack today, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that in my body right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be missing a couple 40 times.
Yeah.
Shake Shack's so good, though.
But it's nice. The NFL does a great job. They have a fan experience for the first time at the Combine. We got to tour that this morning. Even though it's raining, we got a little VIP tour of that where you can run the 40, do the vertical jump, do an obstacle course, do a bench press simulator. They're really making it fan friendly here. So this is the first year they've done that for fans. And it's a ticketed event, but it's free. So any fan can show up. If you're listening and you hear this, you're in Indianapolis area, you can come by. Fan experience is open, I think 1 to 7 today, and then noon to 6 the next 2 days. So check it out on NFL.com. They do a great job just putting this together for media. We have a whole media workroom that has snacks available for us to purchase, and they treat us real well. I think if I was giving them a report, like all the grades that came out, I'd give them a B+ for sure.
B+, that's pretty good, yeah.
B+. I mean, they're not an F
because you didn't say A. This is almost more impressive than if you would have said A-. I believe a B+ way more.
There's definitely some things I'd like to improve, but I think they're working on it. And the fact that it's in Indianapolis every year, they really have fine-tuned a lot of this stuff. So they can't control the rain. My feet are wet from walking outside, but they can't control the rain. As far as I know, I don't think Goodell has control over weather yet, but I think he's working on it.
He's definitely working on it. You the man, Dustin.
Well, Dustin, thank you so much for coming to us live from Indianapolis at the Combine. Really appreciate it. We're looking forward to see more of your updates coming out on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll be tweeting them out. And then if you guys had a show on Saturday, I'd hop on tomorrow. But you guys are slackers and only do weekday shows. So.
Yeah.
Maybe we could step in.
Pretty good way to debut that one.
Guys, if you're not already following Dustin and you want to make sure that you see these Combine updates, follow him on Twitter at the DUnit13. It is not pronounced the Dunit 13. It is the DUnit 13. And only an idiot would say the Dunit the first time Dustin came on a show and you said his Twitter handle out loud.
It's just like the rapper G-Unit, but I'm better. I'm D-Unit.
He's the D-Unit. So go give him a follow. Follow his Combine updates. And Dustin, thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, have a good show, guys.
Have a good
Appreciate
one.
You, Dustin.
Later, dude.
The D-Unit himself, man. I didn't know that I wanted to go to the NFL Combine that bad until I saw Dustin standing there and he turned the camera on. I was like, I should be there. I should be there.
My mom texted me next year FYF broadcast from the Combine. Make it happen.
Matt, what's the deal, Matt? We need the better sports. Set it up, dude.
Let's do it. And Tommy in the chat this whole time has been planning a separate Combine. The front yard fantasy combine. The whole time he's just like, okay, we got to think of what these events are going to
be. Three cone drill.
I like, the 3 cone drill. Quickest to eat 3 ice cream cones. The 40 is how fast you can chug a 40. And then Tommy said the high jump would be fun too.
All right, we're doing this now. We're doing this.
He also said that your 40 time would be 7 seconds, Simon.
See, I don't even know if that's insulting. Like for a normal person.
Yes.
For a normal human?
Like not NFL.
Absolutely insulting. 7 seconds, dude.
I believe you. I believe you that I should be insulted, but I don't know.
You're not giving me any more information to make me feel more confident. You're just saying yes.
How fast does like an emu run? How fast would an emu run a 40?
Put it in perspective.
An emu. Don't say emu.
I don't know if emus.
Is it emu or emu?
It's emu.
It's emu.
Emu or emu?
There's no Y in there. It's emu.
Well, the word music doesn't have a Y in it either, but we say music, not music. The English language can have multiple pronunciations with letter combinations. Ding back.
JL, back to you.
I like that Coop did his own burn. He's like, ooh.
Yeah, Coop provided the counterpoint. Then I came back at it. He did the ooh.
And I did the sound. Then I did the sound effects and threw it to you to respond.
Coop, you have a career in politics, my friend.
That was impressive. Trust me, if it came back to me, I would have went straight to the. You know what doesn't have a Y in it? USA.
Nick and you wants to know which of you can kick the furthest field goal.
I don't think either of us can kick a field.
If we're going for FYF as an organization, I know the answer to that question already.
Me.
It's J-Wall.
It's Tim.
It's J-Wall. Because I saw J-Wall at the Expo kicking like 50-yard bombs.
I don't want to brag.
It's definitely Tim.
I've told this story before, but I did hit a 20-yarder at the College Football Hall of Fame in front of a bunch of third graders and their parents. And I'll just tell you, none of those third graders hit the field goal. They were all very impressed when the grown man stood up there and did it.
And I remember your father being very impressed as well.
Yes, he was very impressed too, as I stood in line 3 feet taller than every single other person around me.
Nailed it. That must have been the pinnacle when you just look over.
That was like me and Build a Bear.
Yeah,
that's your Build a Bear story.
That's my Build a Bear, except I had less shame, and I probably should have had similar amounts of shame.
Yeah,
that Build a Bear story brings me great pain.
Yeah,
just third party, like the hair on my arm is standing up. Just thinking.
Keith in here said the 3 poem drill. Are you reading 3 poems? Are you writing 3 poems?
3 poem drill.
The 3 poem drill instead of the 3 cone drill.
He just thought of a word that sounded kind of similar to cone.
Or because Tommy does the poems every morning, and Tommy's putting together the FYF combine. He has the 3 poem drill.
I don't know if I could read 3 of Tommy's poems back to back to back.
The combine is he gives them to you in a chat format where there is no formatting, and they count the number of times that you mess up the meter of the poem through 3 poems, and then your score is like golf scored down. So a 0 would be the best. That means you got through all 3 poems perfectly. You nailed the meter.
I see.
The loser has to read Tommy's poem every morning.
The winner gets to read Tommy's poem.
The winner gets.
There it is. Nick in the chat said, "I went and tried to kick Pats with a buddy to see how hard it is. Hard AF."
Yeah. They're much harder nowadays than they used to be, for sure. It's like a real field goal now.
Well, yeah, it's like 30. They put on the 30 now.
Something like that.
28.
Tim and I went out to try to kick punts one time on the Clemson practice field, or like one of the fields on campus, and I immediately kicked the hard plastic tee as hard as I could with my toe wearing sneakers, and that was the last kick I did there.
Why were you punting with a tee?
I think that's your mistake.
Kickoffs. Sorry, I just said the wrong word. We were just putting in a tee and running up and kicking it.
He's holding the ball with the tee in his hands.
Tee in and then dropping it and kicking it.
How did they kick the ball without hitting the tee?
Yeah, this is amazing.
So hard. They fall at the same rate. That's the problem. If only science didn't work, then the tee could fall first.
9.8 meters per second.
Wow.
If science didn't work, I'd be one of the best punters ever.
But
is that right?
I think it is 9.8 meters per second.
Let's go.
I think that is the acceleration due to gravity, if I'm not mistaken.
Suck it, math.
A little science talk today?
A little science talk. You want some you got a science for us, Coop?
Do I have a science?
Yeah.
Tell
Jail
us.
brought one.
Tell us.
Yeah, I am going. Let me go after
USA.
you. Let me go after the engineer. Engineer first, of course. Because
Yeah,
I'm sure
here's
you have a
some-
ton of science available.
Oh, I got so much science.
He's tricking you.
Like birds and sharks have a cloaca that poop and pee comes out of at the same time.
That sounds pretty bad.
There's my
Sounds
science
disgusting.
fact.
That sounds terrible.
Avogadro's number. You know that one?
No, it's that one.
I don't know. I was just asking you.
Oh, no, I don't. So animal facts could be science.
Yeah, biology is science. Rock facts can be science.
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. You could say that.
Oh, see, that's one of the ones I knew. Now that's another one that I can't
She
say.
thinks my cells are sexy. My ribosomes turn around. That was
What
my
the
6th
hell
grade
is
science. I wrote a parody to "She Thinks My Tractor Sexy" in the 6th grade for biology class, and
Nice.
it was "She Thinks My
You
cells
started
are
singing
sexy."
it like I should know what it was. So I was like,
I do have one animal fact, which is that there are these things called bats, and the number of people sometimes think that they're night birds, but when in reality they're actually their own species that are bats, and they make a sound similar to, it's like a.
You think birds aren't their own species?
Sure they are.
It's debate. Science is
The
still
bird
trying to
species?
figure that out. If
They're still trying to figure
their own
that
species
part
or not.
out. Yeah, but the fact, a little known fact, that the night birds are different than regular birds. They're called bats.
The regular birds. Good to know.
Bats are different than normal birds.
Night birds are different from bats and regular birds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, coming up, we've got some more games we're going to play. We got our friend Vinny joining the show to play some Texas Ranges. Then we're going to play Fast Guy, Quick Time
There
with
you
our
go.
friend Tim, and then get into some Hypothetically as well. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19. Nice. So,
your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have satellite. Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, doesn't count. Sorry, couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's like, and not to mention like that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball like right into his face, right? Like he's coming over to spot it, and it's like every other time the player's just like, here you go, here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Like, is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it. Which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season. And these players, right, just slamming them down. It's like they've become Dilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just like the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're going to have our friend Vinny joining us shortly to play some Texas Rangers. But before we get into that, Coop, you had 3 minutes there. And during the break, you messaged us and said, I literally couldn't think of a single science fact. Do you have one?
Yeah, I was able to think of a unique one, and that's that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Incredible. And stay tuned for my next Moreau You Know. It'll be nice as well. Guys, joining us right now, we've got our friend Vinny Iyer coming up to the stage to play some Texas Rangers with us. For those of you that don't know Vinny, you can find him on Twitter at Vinny Iyer. That is VINNIEIYER. He's an NFL and fantasy writer over at the Sporting News and a host the Locked On Podcast Network. Vinny, thanks so much for joining us.
I think we have time to play a game this week. So I finally
you done good, man.
I've been okay. I was on a sports trivia podcast, so that was exciting.
How'd you do?
It was a thrilling down to the wire, so it was very good. So,
ooh, not giving any spoilers. We're going to have to go watch it to find out.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's called The Benchwarmer. Shout out to them. They do a great job. If you're into school sports trivia, it's just a great show. So it was a lot of fun. They really run the gamut. They really ask some deep dive older questions, some newer questions. So
I like
it's pretty good.
You're the perfect. They were probably like jackpot when they found a fantasy football and NFL writer who's a former Jeopardy champion.
Yeah, it was fun. The Jeopardy champions, one of us was, so it was fun.
The also a former poll perception champion. That should be on the resume.
I'm adding that to my Twitter bio right now.
You should. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm doing my best Foxwood Vin impression right now, Vinny. I'm jet setting around like you like to do. I'm in Florida right now, Naples.
Okay. What are you doing there? Just hanging out? Spring
down
training?
Visiting my parents. Yeah, I'm working out. Gonna go swing the old irons around this weekend on the golf course behind me. So it should be a good time.
That's good.
Have you been? Is there anything with the combine this week that you're really looking for as we're going into the NFL combine? We're getting a lot of the positional players starting today. Is there something specific, a specific player or drill that you're hyper focused on?
No, I'm just looking at the offensive skill guys, and for fantasy, just looking at how's this all going to sort out. I think Bryce Young seems like he might be the number one pick, but I'm not 100% sure. Then you have Anthony Richardson and Will Levis and are all working out this week. You got the tight ends are pretty good this year. There's a lot of guys, first and second round picks potentially. That could be good for fantasy. We need more tight ends that can produce regularly. And then the wide receivers. I'm not quite sure who's number one. You got Jordan Addison, you got Quentin Johnston, You got Jackson Smith and Jigba coming off an injury, so I'm not sure who's exactly going to be the best pick of those guys, but skill position guys. And then do the 2 running backs or one of them, Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs, go in the first round when they both don't really have first-round grades, but you know how running backs are. And, we'll see. And if either of them go in the first round to a team, I'm a target one. I'll just say that.
Absolutely. And we were talking about a little bit earlier that Bijan's doing all the drills. He says he's coming out and he's doing all of them. He wants to be the best that there was at the combine. So I'm excited to see that. I'm of the camp that I don't think he should, but I'm glad he is. Like it's more fun for me that he is. I don't think it's necessary, but he wants that first round draft capital, like you said, Vinny. And we've seen players of similar caliber not get that first round draft capital.
Yeah, I think there's enough. I think there's enough teams when you look at the way the draft is set up. There's enough teams that could use a luxury pick that are like everything is set and they could use a luxury pick at the end of the first round. That I don't think there's any way Bijan makes it out of the first round. Like the Bills, for instance, it's hard to argue that the Bills wouldn't be drastically better with Bijan. So I don't think he gets past a team like that. So I think what he's saying to himself is, I want to be a top 5, 10 pick. Right? That's why he's working out.
Which might be a stretch. I know people are excited about the defensive talent in this draft. Tommy brought it up earlier as well. It might be a tough top 10 to sneak into this year. Might be a little bit tough. Well, Vinny, we brought you on today to play some Texas Ranges with us. See if you can take down Coop in a head-to-head matchup here. For those of you who have not played Texas Ranges with us before, this is a game where the contestants are going to be given a prompt asking for a specific number, something like the number of passing yards in Tom Brady's career. Each contestant is going to guess a number range that number has to fall within. If the actual answer is within your range, you're going to get 1 point. And now, if you have the smallest range that is correct, you're going to get 3 points instead of 1 point. The only other catch is your range cannot be more than twice the actual number. So if the number was 500 and your guess was 1,000 or was 0 to 2,000, that is more than 1,000, which is double the range. You're not going to get any points there. So that's to prevent just throwing giant nets out there to try to scoop up a point. We'll go through a couple rounds here, and whoever has the most points at the end of our time will be our Texas Ranges champion. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's do it. Here's our first prompt, and Coop, you're going to be giving the range first on this one, then Vinny, and then we will alternate each time. How many field goals did Adam Vinatieri make throughout his career?
Oh.
Tommy in the chat saying also known as the Coop rule.
Which is just an arbitrary name, has nothing to do with past events.
Yeah, 100%. Has to do with the chicken coop.
That's right. Yeah, it's a chicken rule. So field goals in his career, I feel like I'll go with 800 to 1,000 field goals.
800 to 1,000 for Coop. Vinny, what range are you putting down on the number of field goals Adam Vinatieri made during his career?
I'm going 500 to 700.
Yeah,
500 to 700. We got some guesses in the chat. Tim coming in with 699. Just a reminder to everyone watching, throw your answers in the chat if you've got a guess. We'll shout you out if you're very right. Vinny had 500 to 700. Coop, 800 to 1,000. So there's no way both of you can be right. You've got the same size range. If it's in either one of those, you're going to be taking home 3 points on this one. The number of field goals that Adam Vinatieri made during his career was 599.
Wow,
Vinny, what a pull. A 200 number range, and you're only 99 away with your lower limit, 101 with your upper limit. Nice job.
Yeah, I just did some math. 25 to 30 field goals over 20 years.
See, I was thinking 40 field goals a year. That's way too high. Yeah.
So I just multiply that, but I thought he played about 20 years. So,
all right, so Vinny gets 3.
Vinny gets 3 points for that. Coop, great job on your math, though. You know what I mean? You really did a good job on the math. Just your inputs were incorrect.
Yeah, the input was wrong, but the formula was correct. We had the same formula. It's just our inputs were different. His being right and mine being wildly high.
Exactly. Tim in the chat saying, dang, I knew it was one off of a round 100. Yeah, he came in with 699. You just had one number wrong, one digit incorrect.
A lot of cred. Shout out Tim.
Shout out Tim. Well, Vinny, you're going to take an early lead with that one there. You guys ready for prompt number 2?
I think so.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Here's what I want to know. How many passing yards did Peyton Manning have in his career? Vinny, you've got the first guess here. And what I want to know is how many passing yards did Peyton Manning have during his career?
60 to 70,000.
60 to 70,000 for Foxwood. Vin, Coop, where are you going here?
So I actually think that this number is somewhere in the 74,000 and change range. So I'm going to say, I want to say I'm familiar with the number. So I'm going to say it's, and you said, what was the high number on yours, Vin?
He said 60 to 70.
Okay, so I'll say 71. As long as we don't overlap, I get 3 points. So, right? So I'm going to say 71.
Well, you can even overlap as long as your range is smaller.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go bigger range, but not overlapping. So I'm going to say 70. So I'm going to say 70,001 to 80,000.
70,001 to 80,000. Cutting off your range by 1, Vinny. But neither one of you can't both be right anyways. So if one of you guys has this in your range, you're going to get 3 points. Get some guesses in the chat. Hal with 29,345, a little bit lower than your guys' guess. The actual percentage that is not a percentage is a number of yards that Peyton Manning had in his career was 71,940. Coop, when you said 74, I was sitting there going, "Oh, say 72."
He's gonna mess this up.
72.
Yeah,
but
I was very close. I was very close to messing it up, but I knew it was 70 something because I never forget why. I was just looking at it.
He's got to be pretty high up on the all-time list with that, right? That's got to be top 5
third.
numbers.
I think he's third. I think he's third. Brady and Breeze. I think. I think that's right.
We can fact check that, but that sounds very right. That sounds accurate.
That sounds okay.
Well, guys, the score is now 3-3 after the first 2 rounds. Both of you getting one correct while the other one missed that range. But we got a couple more prompts here to determine the winner of our show. Reminder, everyone, play along in the chat. Throw them in the chat if you think you know the answer. We'd be more than happy to shout you out if you're right and mock you if you're wrong. Here's my next prompt. How many Pro Bowl votes did Travis Kelce get? And so this is in the public Pro Bowl voting. How many Pro Bowl votes did Travis Kelce get? Coop, you've got the first guess here. Give me a range.
This is from fans or from obviously because they don't tell us what the players and coaches vote for. So there's a fan vote.
Yeah, this is the fan vote.
So I have 0 frame of reference for how many. So that's going to be a good start.
The way you said "well" was with way more confidence than the next word. You're like, "Well," and I thought you were going to be
I have no idea. You know, what is it like? How many people can vote? Oh, man, I'm going to say probably hundreds of thousands of votes. I'm going to say between 300,000 and 500,000. So
between 300 and 500K. Vinny, what's your range? Give me a range of 1,000.
Some 1,000 a million. I think
you're gonna
600K to 1 million votes.
You gonna game theory me, Vinny? Are you game theorying me right now? Are you game theorying me?
No, I don't know idea. I thought the NFL, like, if the NFL is so popular, like,
it should be high.
A million people click.
Who votes?
Say Travis Kelce's cool. Like,
well, Travis Kelce's mom probably created 1,000 burner accounts herself just to vote 1,000 times. So you got to add.
Jason Keith voted like 300,000 times.
Exactly. If she has 1,000 accounts, that's only 500 votes for Travis because she needs to use 500 of those accounts to vote.
Patrick Mahomes is sitting there. Keep voting.
Also, Hal in the chat saying you can vote as much as you want. So it doesn't, you can just vote as many times as you want. Hal had a guess in the chat, 1.4 million to 2 million. Nick said 35K to 45K. So we've got guesses all over the place here. Makes sense for the prompt given. The actual number of votes that Travis Kelce got for the Pro Bowl was 248,279. I'm sorry, there are no points going around on this one.
So
that was a tough one. And Nick said, don't really know anyone that votes. And that's what I was thinking. Like, I didn't vote.
You can vote as many times.
That is a really good point. Like, I have no one said, did you get your vote in for the Pro Bowl?
You can vote as many times as you want, and only a quarter million people voted. Yeah, no one cares.
They're not even going to vote on the NFL. What are they voting on?
It seems pretty. They don't care. Yeah, and if you can vote as many times as you want, then clearly no one cares.
I learned nobody voted in America when Clay Aiken lost season 2 of American Idol.
A travesty.
Like, come on. Yeah. Clay Aiken's going to lose that season. That means people didn't vote because Clay Aiken was loved nationwide.
Who did win?
Ruben Studdard, who never released a successful album. Don't get me wrong. No shame to Ruben. I loved Ruben. He was a great singer. I'm very happy.
I think Clay Aiken also lost it here in North Carolina. I think he also lost a Senate vote too. So.
He ran for Senate?
Because people didn't vote.
Oh, Clay Aiken. Come on, my friend.
Wake up, dude. He needs to win. Let's get Clay Aiken to win.
Let's get Clay Aiken into the Pro Bowl next year.
He needs a W. Yeah. If Clay Aiken was on the ballot, I would vote multiple times for Ruben.
Yeah, I want to see like weirdo about like the write-in ballots for the Pro Bowl. Like, did someone vote for like, I don't know, like Johnny Manziel was in there just for.
Justin Fields got an MVP vote, Vinny, so anything's possible.
Yeah, I was shocked by Geno Smith got an MVP vote. I was rolling through the MVP votes yesterday. There was like a Sporkle quiz that I took. And I was just like, what are these people doing? Trevor Lawrence got like 11, like multiple MVP votes last year.
Kind of
MVP votes in any sport are awful. They're just bad.
Awful. Dude,
which sport has the worst? Which one has the worst MVP voting?
Which one do you think?
Baseball's consistent.
The Baseball Hall of Fame voting is the worst. It's the worst.
All of the baseball voting is the worst.
Because the people like half the baseball writers, I feel like they take their ballot and they're just cared about writing an article. So they vote for just Craig Biggio and nobody else. And then they're like, click this article as to why. You know what I mean? Like, I hate the Baseball Hall of Fame voting. I hate it.
I don't want to go on my side rant here, but I can.
Do it.
So I'm a Cardinals fan, so I'm okay about Scott Rowland getting in. But then I look at Gary Sheffield. I look at other guys fame that are way better. Jeff Kent is better in the league. There's so many dudes that were just better at their top of the Scott Rowland.
Plus, Jeff Kent was on Survivor. Legend.
He's a jerk, but I get it. But so is Barry Bonds. So, I mean.
That's not a requirement for getting in the Hall of Fame. You don't have to be not a jerk.
Apparently being the greatest baseball player of all time doesn't necessarily get you in the Hall of Fame because that's not going to do it. No. Because Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame, and he's the best baseball player of all time.
There's a TikTok account that I follow that they just put out absurd Barry Bonds stats that sound fake. And like, there's always a new one. I've seen like 30 of them. Every time they're just like, they start talking about it and then they drop the number and you're like, excuse me? Like, that is absolutely absurd.
My favorite part is that, it should happen. Yeah. My favorite part is that like, you take all those stats, everything. That's also arguably the worst ballpark to hit in the entire league, right? Are there many worse ballparks to hit in than that ballpark? And he still was hitting the ball into the water, not even in the stands, into the water, dude. Like that guy was so.
And he's probably a Hall of Famer before he got to San Francisco.
I know. Right. So that's what.
The only sport that keeps their best players out of the Hall of Fame makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Keep going.
So
and how down here said Bonds the best all time, top 5 probably, but best he's not buying it. Not buying it.
Bonds he is the best. Who's better, man? Who's better than Barry Bonds, dude? I have a hard time figuring out.
You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking the wrong guy.
I hope that Ohtani can continue what he's doing because then it becomes a cool. Then it becomes like a Babe Ruth argument where it's like and he pitched, right? That's wild. Like he's like one of the best hitters and the best pitchers. That is so cool, man. I hope
strangely, Shohei Ohtani also got 10,000 Pro Bowl votes.
Yeah, man. But honestly, deserved. Probably more does.
He'd be nice in the slot, big slot, dude. Shohei Ohtani. Can I wrap this baseball talk up by asking, how are the Angels not good? How do they have like two of the best players of all time and they're not good? And no one even thinks they're going to be good at any time, Vinny. Like, what's going on with the Angels?
Well, I'm reading a book about Ricky Henderson now. It's really sick. And they're talking about the Yankees in the 80s, and they had Ricky Henderson, Don Mattingly, and Dave in the middle, like in their lineup. And they couldn't get to the playoffs. They didn't win a division with those three guys. Bad pitching, but that's what it comes down
pitching,
to.
Huh?
Yeah.
Ricky Henderson, man, what a character that guy is. I bet that book has got some crazy stories.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. It's good.
I see Joey in here saying Willie Mays better both sides, and George saying if you're getting intentionally walked with the bases loaded, I mean, come on. I'm guessing he's talking about Barry Bonds with that one. They'd rather just give up one run than risk that dude just banging it into the water, like Coop said. Well, guys, we're going to get back into our game here. We've got time for a couple more rounds. The score is all tied up 3-3, and we need to figure out a winner. You guys ready for your next prompt?
Yeah. Yep.
Here is your next prompt. The most flags thrown by a single ref during the 2022-2023 season. Vinny, you've got the first guess here. So this is the most flags thrown by a single referee during this past season.
Okay, I'm going 150 to 180.
150 to 180, a small range for Vinny. Coop, what are you doing here?
So specific. Do you know something, Vinny? Okay, because you came out hot.
You just got in Coop's head with the ease with which that flowed out.
So I'm a little worried with going above Vinny's now. I'm worried with that I might say too many flags, and then my number will be double whatever it is. Right.
Also, I see questions in the chat. It is for a season, not for a game. So for all of last season, the most flags thrown by one ref for the entirety of the season combined.
I wonder if it was Jerome Boger that was chucking them.
We can guess who it is.
Yeah, give me 100. I'll go 100 to 149. I'm gonna undercut Vinny's number.
100 to 149, which you already had a bigger range than him. So you didn't need to undercut him. But here is the actual number. We had some guesses in the chat. Hal saying 245 to 301.
That's so
after the initial guess of 12 to 20.
Who the official is, or
yeah, we can check. Tommy guessing 150 to 180. So right there with you, Vinny, as well. The actual number of flags, and then we'll guess the person, was 250. 250 flags was the most flags thrown by a single referee during the season. And the referee was, you got to guess?
Oh, I know who it is. It's the guy. I was going to say it's the old dude. The old short dude. They're all old short dudes. I can't. I know. I can. It's not. I know it's not either Carl Sheffers. It's not him. Unless it is.
Is it the younger Hockey League?
It is a younger guy. His name is Alex Kemp. Is the referee that threw the most flags.
Did you recognize that name, Vinny? I don't even recognize the name.
That's like he's really new. I think. I forget the guy.
He looks young in the pictures. He looks young. We got Kevin Frank in here saying, "Good morning, gentlemen." Good morning, Kevin. Welcome in, my friend. Glad to have you here. Also, Hal. Shout out Hal in the chat, the only person with that within their range. Hal gets 245 to 301. So you were right there. Only 5 away on your lower limit. Nice job.
A lot of flags, man. It's a lot of flags.
It's a lot of flags. Like, come on. Well, we've got one more prompt here. This one could determine the winner if either one of you gets within the range. We've had some tough ones today that were hard to guess. But here is your next prompt. What I want to know is Evan Ingram's career receiving yards. Evan Ingram's career receiving yards. Vinny, you've got the first guess here. What is your range for the number of career receiving yards Evan Ingram has?
This is really tough because he's gone up and down. He's missed a lot.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to say, oh my gosh, this is terrible. 4,000 to 5,000.
4,000 to 5,000 from Vinny.
I think you're underestimating the amount of time that Evan Ingram has missed. So many games, bro. And he's
Tommy said Coop has this tattooed on his ass.
I love Evan Ingram, but he's missed a lot of games and also dropped a lot of passes. I think that this number is actually going to be cool. It's going to be shockingly low. Like it is probably closer to 2,000 than it is 4,000. Not even 2,000, honestly. It might be lower than 2,000. I'm going to go 2,000 to 3,000.
2,000 to 3,000. Vinny went 4,000 to 5,000. We got some guesses in the chat. Scott Fish said 229.5 MFers. Joey said 3,600 to 4,000. And Hal said 3,989 to 5,203. Well, the actual Scott, whenever that answer came in, it just really threw me for a loop. The actual number of receiving yards that Evan Ingram has in his career is 3,594. Perfectly. If you take your two ranges and make a range in between your ranges,
it was there.
You guys nailed it.
I sold him short. I forgot he's been in the league for 6 years, despite only being 28 or so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like 800 or 9. Was it like 800 this year? So it was like
he's had two seasons with like 700-800, but some of the other ones were like 4, 3.
Yeah, he's had 2 big years. Like that's it. So he got half by there in 2 years.
So basically, he has 1 good year with Eli Manning and 1 good year Hall of Fame quarterback Eli Manning, 1 good year with up and coming quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and then he has a bunch of years with Daniel Jones, also known as the bad years.
How about Joey Rice coming in and guessing 3,600? Only 4 or 6 over the actual number. Joey, you were 6 away from having that within the range.
I can't wait to
know that. That's when I should know.
The bad years.
The bad years. The Daniel
That's the
Jones
name of the
years.
chapter about Daniel Jones.
Yeah. The bad times.
I misrepresented Scott Fish's 229.2 MFers comment that he put in the chat. He was letting us know this is the first time he's been under 230 pounds since before COVID. Shout out, Scott. Nice job, my friend.
Scott.
It's got to feel good to look down and see that.
Yeah.
You look great.
I did a diet this year, but now I'm visiting my parents, so diet is canceled.
That's what my girlfriend and I were planning a trip to see my grandparents in the Netherlands later this year. And I said, just so you know, you're going to leave about 10 pounds heavier than we showed up because Oma does not mess around with the food she puts in front of you. She means serious business. Well, guys, today's game is going to end in a 3-3 tie. I think the first tie while you've been guessing, Vinny, but you guys were evenly matched. What can I say?
We're just too smart. We're just equally smart. Yeah. You know that's such a stupider person answer to be like, we're the same smartness.
I need to do some Evan Ingram research, so just tell me in advance what random tight end we're going to pull up, and I'll just
okay. Let's just keep doing. You picked my favorite tight end. I still couldn't get it. So I mean, that's how good I am at this.
Next week will be Chigoziem Okonkwo, so make sure you're ready on his career receiving yards. It's just one season, so you don't have to remember too much.
Catch that. Evan Ingram's biography is going to be my written biography.
The dark times. The Daniel Jones.
Well, Vinny, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us. It's always a pleasure having you on Fridays. Everybody watching, if you're not following our friend Vinny, fix that right now. He's on Twitter at Vinny Iyer. That is VINNIEIYER. And you can check out his work over on sportingnews.com. There's a link right in his Twitter bio as well. Vinny, appreciate you taking the time as always, my friend.
Next week.
And I'm going to go listen to you beat up on some trivia on the Benchwarmers podcast after this.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, shout out. They do a good job, so check it out, all the listeners.
Awesome.
Test your wits, too. All right. See you.
Hell yeah.
Have a good one, Vinny.
All right. See ya.
See ya, Vinny. Out. Guys, coming up, we got our friend Tim joining the show for some Fast Guy, Quick Time, and some Hypothetically. So make sure you're sticking around for that. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
As a longtime baseball fan, here's my message to other baseball fans, to steal a line from the Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Everyone needs to relax after what we saw this past weekend as spring training games out in Arizona and down in Florida got going, and we're inching closer and closer to Major League Baseball opening day. The rule changes in Major League Baseball is not for myself. It's not for you out there, the hardened baseball fan, whether you're a fan 5, 10, 15, 30, or even 50 years from all around this great country. It's not for those that are going to be locked in. It's for trying to generate more fans. So if they want the pitcher to go out there and work in rhythm with a guy on base, begin the windup within 20 seconds, nobody on base, begin the windup within 15 seconds, or have the batter make sure that he's back in the batter's box within 8 seconds, then making the base pass first, second, and third bigger, eliminating the shift. All of this is to make the game better. We've seen leagues, whether it be the National Football League, do you think it's the same league as it is today in 2023, or what we saw in 2022 as it was 30 years ago? No, it's not. Is NBA basketball the same? No. How many games do you see being played? 83-79 finals. You don't see that at all. So every league adjusts to try and bring what? More fans into the sport. And that is something that Major League Baseball is going out there and trying to do. I've been critical at times of Rob Manfred, whether or not as a MLB commissioner, whether he likes the sport based on some of the rhetoric that he has spewed in years gone by. But I got to be honest with you, as a longtime baseball fan, I've been a Yankee fan my entire life. Watched a ton of Met games here in the tri-state area. Watched baseball all around. Can't wait for October baseball. Think it's absolutely unbelievable what is transpiring now and what's happening now, and the rule changes being brought about baseball. It's going to bring back to the game to when I became a fan, where the stolen base was something, moving guys over was something, having men on base, batting averages ascending, not being an all or nothing league where either you're striking out or hitting the ball over the fence. And that is what baseball is trying to do. So as everybody tries to adjust, and change is difficult, whether you're changing your diet, exercise routine, changing your relationships, changing a job, change is different. I get that. And it's hard. But let's take a step back. Let's understand what Major League Baseball is trying to do here. And they're trying to repopulate or repopularize the sport. That's what they're trying to do. They're clearly the third most popular sport in the United States. They want to make it less regionalized. This is the way they need to go about doing it. I'm all for it. For more content like this, download the Better Sports Network app or go to bettersports.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining us on the show right now, we've got our fun Friday guest, Front Yard fam member, the hairiest and sweetest member of the Front Yard Fantasy crew, Tim Wright. What's up, Tim?
Look who it is. It's me.
There
What's
it
up,
is.
It's me.
Is that a Atlanta United hat I see on your head?
Yeah, it's really cool. It was
What's
super cheap
What's
too.
the pattern on it?
Like cool little flowers. Yeah.
Oh, that is a sick hat.
It's
And
a
I know you love
perfect
a you love a floral print.
Oh yeah, I'm a sucker for a floral hat. Absolutely.
We love a floral print. And the Atlanta United games are pretty fun. I haven't been to many, but
the first game
so
we went to the opening game this year, and we went down in the 12th minute, and then we did nothing for all of regulation, and then stoppage came, and we scored in the 93rd, and then we scored in the 99th.
That's a fun game. So you got all your excitement just on the ends.
Yep.
Which I feel like is the times that you're most invested in the game as well. Like you show up, you're watching immediately, and then at the end, you're watching to see what happens. And in the middle, maybe you go grab a beer.
You're just super sad through the middle part. It's like we're down. We're like, all right, we're gonna lose this game, and then all of a sudden, wild.
The flowers being on that hat makes it make a lot more sense, Tim. I was wondering if you had like converted to a soccer fan. No, there's flowers on the hat.
Yeah. No, I do want to get more into soccer, and I can root for the Atlanta United more than I can root for the Falcons. So makes sense.
That makes sense. And they play in the same stadium.
You know what I have to say to all that? Go Revs.
I don't know. I'm just getting inside.
It's like I only know the team that's down the street. I haven't even heard it.
That one team. I think I might be able to name 2 other teams. I didn't know the Atlanta United, but I know the New England Revolution. That's our team. Great name. And then the Seattle, is it the Sounders?
Sure. It sounds good.
Sounds, I mean, definitely.
Austin has one. I think Matthew McConaughey is involved somehow with the Austin one, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'm just connecting to unrelated. I think it's Austin FC, and they got a tree as their logo.
Isn't Kansas City's like the Sporting FC, or is that wrong?
They don't even have trees in Texas.
Not many. Yeah, you look around. There's not very much green when you look down. Man, that's what I hate to go on a green rant, but last time I was in Atlanta, I was just looking around. I was up on like the rooftop of the hotel that we were staying at. I was looking around. And I was like, God, there's so many trees here. Like you just look out and it's just green. It looks like a forest, and they just shove some buildings in the middle of it. And then like I walk outside and I'll walk for like 80 years without seeing a shrub in somebody's front yard. It's a giant cactus, and like it's kind of like a tree.
That's how I felt here. Like I got off the plane and I like went to go outside, and it was like I felt like I was getting off the snow here, so like waiting for the cold to hit me. And then I realized, wait a second, you can go outside here. This isn't Boston. It's like it's an actual climate where like humans can survive. So it's a totally different world here. Yeah,
100%. Well, guys, we are about to get into one of Coop's favorite games on the show, if not his number one favorite. Ask Guy Quick Time. This is the game.
We're playing hypothetically.
We got both queued up. We got plenty of time for both of them.
Hypothetically, we're playing Fast Guy Quick Time.
You're like, hypothetically, we're playing a different game. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hypothetically, answer these 15 questions as quickly as you can. If you haven't watched us play this game before, how it's going to work is we've got a series of rapid fire questions that we're going to throw at each one of us one by one. Your only job is to answer them as quickly as possible. You just have to get in there, no thinking, say the first thing that comes to your mind, let it come out. And Coop left. Is he on your screen? Coop, are you there? Coop said, I'm not playing. Well, Tim, I guess it's me and you.
All right.
Hypothetically.
Are you going to ask yourself the questions?
I guess so. Maybe Keith. Oh, I think his microphone's broken, so I don't even think Keith can jump up and do it. Well, maybe we'll just do a couple rounds here.
I tried to escape, but then my dad looked at me and he was like, "Get back in there."
He's like, "Come on." He's wearing his Lenore Ryan sweatshirt, and he's like,
"He's get over here."
Is he wearing his Lenore Ryan sweatshirt?
He's not wearing a Lenore Ryan shirt, but once again, he's wearing a stupid New England shirt. I don't know. Can you guys see this?
Billy.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
That's literally all he has are like deep cut Patriots Homer shirts, dude.
That's amazing.
Billy with the crown, dude.
Well, Tim,
without fail.
We're gonna let you go first. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, always.
Remember, no thinking. Rapid fire answers. Here is question number 1. Carnival game you play to impress someone.
Skee ball.
Favorite fish.
The biggest one. God damn it.
Strange place you like to use fake blood.
What?
Strange place you would like to use fake blood.
I heard fake blood on my mouth.
Reason you would cry on a jet ski.
Family died.
What's the name of your mafia family?
The Maronis.
Weirdest thing you've heard in a bathroom.
Oh.
Tattoo you'd never get.
A Patriots logo.
A bad time to pop off your shirt.
Oh, never. Maybe in Little Caesars.
The Law and Order one-liner.
He was walking here.
Inappropriate thing to do during a handshake.
Lick your hands.
If you were a carny, how would you taunt people?
You suck, dude.
What would be a Roger Goodell pickup line?
I'm the NFL man in charge, and I rigged the whole system. Can I unrig your pants?
Activity you would want to do in a hot air balloon.
Puzzles.
What does your inspirational poster say?
Do it, you buddy. You can't, probably can't, but you should try.
Wow. Just great, Tim.
Oh my God. Somebody make that poster, dude. Tommy, make that poster. Do it. You probably can't, but you should try.
That's the answer. A bad time to pop off the shirt. Tim goes, never, but maybe not in a Little Caesars.
That's maybe the one rule.
Yeah. So my question, you said with the handshake, one thing you don't do with handshake is lick your hands. What's weirder, you think? Licking your hand before the handshake or licking it after?
After is weirder, before is grosser.
Yeah.
Before is grosser. Yeah, like if you're shaking hands with somebody, are you more upset if they lick it before or
I think it depends. It depends on how you lick the hand too. Because if I just do like this, you're not getting the taste. But if I do like if I lick my fingers, that's like a.
Well, the thing is, if they lick it before, then I'm not shaking their hand. If I shake someone's hand and then they lick their hand after, now I know I can't interact with this person anymore.
I mean, in my mind, it's a stealth lick. Like I'm like, oh hey, what's up? Real quick, like,
What's weirder? Like licking their hand after, which is pretty weird, but for some reason, even though it'd be less gross, sniffing their hand seems a lot weirder.
No.
Like they go away from a handshake and they just go.
Yeah. I don't care for that.
I think the way you I think based on the way you did that, we all have our answer.
You want me to sniff your hand?
You got in there. Yeah. I honestly feel disrespected if they don't sniff their hand after. Like, what is it? Not good enough for you?
Tommy in the chat said, poster on the way, Tim. And Tim shirtless on a dolphin with that quote underneath.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Make it too, Tommy. I need one of those.
He's holding a machine gun in each hand on top of the dolphin with a headband on.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Well, I gotta go back.
Please, God, please. I don't know if the BSN shop is ready to handle that kind of volume. Tommy, make sure the servers are ready for the kind of volume you're going to get if that poster goes up in the shop.
I need at least two. I need one for me and one for Ani Coop if she's going to want one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Somebody go back and clip that quote. It was like the quote was like, I don't know, like you can do it, probably not, but you should try.
I need one for each bathroom. Just across from the toilet. It's probably not going to happen, but I believe in you. You can make it happen.
And a sign that says, make sure to lick your hands.
Yeah, make sure to lick your hands each and every time. Well, Coop, I believe it is your turn for Fast Guy Quick Time, unless you want to read my questions first. Up to you.
Let's read yours first.
Okay.
And that would mean that I need to have Notion open, which of course I have the show sheet open during the show because I'm part of the show. So I would obviously have that open and I would not stall while I'm opening that because and that's why I knew that
there's some things that never happen.
It's something that would never happen.
Do we determine the bracket topic after the show started and someone brought up guacamole in the chat and it sounded like a good idea? That would never happen. Never would we not have the show sheet open while we're doing the show. That would never happen.
Right. Every time I look, I always look at the show sheet. That's why I knew we were doing Fast Time, Quick Time today. And I would never, set up my setting in front of a golf course while they're mowing the lawn, right? Things like that never happen on this show. So okay, are we prepared?
No, but let's do it.
Okay. Well, I was ready the whole time. So, all right, here we go, Simon. Favorite dog breed?
My dog.
Favorite food at mall food court?
Charlie's Philly cheesesteaks.
Excuse for staring?
Hot.
Item you want to sell like a drug dealer?
My underpants.
What's your favorite quote by JL? What? As we hear him say often, what product are you simping over?
This giant red cup. I use it constantly.
An activity that you wish was part of the NFL Combine?
The Rubik's Cube.
The first thing that you say during contract negotiations?
Well.
A food choice that you judge people for?
Ketchup.
Favorite
mac and cheese. Favorite pun. Favorite pun. I fish. You would come visit me.
Your emo alter ego.
Simon Sadness.
Last thing you purchased off of Amazon?
The last thing, a new thing for the shower. It's called a cartridge. It goes in, and I inserted it wrong.
A fantasy player that you trade your soul for.
Darren Waller.
Title your life as a Dr. Seuss book.
Oh, the places we don't go.
Very good, Simon. Very good.
Very nice.
The ketchup and mac and cheese, like I've had it in the past, and I don't think it enhances it at all. That's the problem.
Sign of a serial killer.
It doesn't taste any better or worse. It's just like it's too parallel of a move to a totally different tasting food. So that's my take on that.
I just feel like if you're doing it for attention. And maybe that's wrong because I know I got some weird food combos, but like ketchup and mac and cheese. Oh, I also hate ketchup.
Like, what makes cheese better? Tomato sugar. Does that make it better? No. The answer is no. It doesn't. Never is
Absolutely
the answer.
Not.
I don't mind weird food combos if they're changing it drastically, making it better in your opinion. Fine, but like I just don't think it changes enough. That's my take. You gotta get more aggressive.
You guys have heard my French fries in applesauce take, but I was an applesauce aficionado growing up. And mac and cheese and applesauce together is really, really good. Applesauce is often used as something to like make a smoother, creamier consistency in baking. So you get that. And then the sweet, salty, cheesy it's a good mix. The consistency can be a little iffy. That's the part I want to warn people of. It's an odd consistency, but give it a shot. One spoonful. Get a spoonful of mac and cheese, dip it in some applesauce, try it. And if you hate it, you can I'll dump a container of applesauce on my head on the show.
Do you heat up the applesauce? Or
no, it's cold.
So you're taking warm mac and cheese and cold applesauce?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Hal says leave the milk out and sub the applesauce. Kevin said mac and cheese, tuna and peas. No thanks.
No, dude.
Or
Kevin, was that the name of your Dr. Seuss book?
Well, Coop, it is your turn. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Can we let my dad go for me in my place?
Absolutely not.
He's not on board with that. He already said that. Let me put my glasses on for. All right, I'm prepared.
Question number 1. Sexy thing a cashier could say to you.
You want to change with that?
Best drunk advice.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Best drunk advice.
I could do one more shot.
Annie Coop wrestling finishing move.
The up and over elbow in the mac and cheese.
Weirdest thing you could say to a dog.
What's up, cat?
Boston thing that only Bostonians get.
Harvard car yard.
Time it's okay to slap a baby.
When they're choking.
Food you eat to intimidate someone.
Beef jerky like this.
Your signature cocktail.
A Manhattan, hold the everything except the bourbon.
Your famous last words.
I drank too much bourbon.
What's the theme for the next Coop family reunion?
Bourbon party.
What are your fighting words?
You want to fight about this mac and cheese with applesauce?
Advice for someone on Tinder.
Swipe with caution.
Looney Tune you'd want on the Patriots.
Give me the Tasmanian Devil, Mondre.
Give a fantasy tip as a Beastie Boy.
Party until you get that money.
Wow, it's like the Beastie Boys are here all at one time. Just incredible.
Yeah.
Just absolutely incredible.
There's more to that song, but it's behind the paywall.
the general paywall.
It's just out there. Like
nothing specific, just general. Guys, I don't know. This reminds me of yesterday. I have a would you rather calendar, right? And I had forgotten to pull them off for a very long time. So yesterday I sat down on the floor in my office and I started pulling them, and I was like putting the ones where I picked the one on the right side, and the ones where I picked the one on the left. Like I'm sorting them. And I zoned out. I got real in the zone, and we are halfway through April now on that calendar. I just got really in. Like it was on January 8th or something like that, and I started pulling. And reading, I'm like, ooh, left, right. And then I looked up, and it was like April 13th on the calendar. I was like, oh, we have done a couple extra here.
You figured out the secret to time travel.
I was gonna say I got to check the calendar now because I'm nervous.
In the future, dude. In the future.
What were some of the good ones?
There were some good ones here. This one, I thought, would you rather run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 20 miles per hour?
Ooh,
I fly, dude. I hate running. Running is just dumb.
That's what I'm saying. I thought like the other one is still fly.
And also,
what I
like,
mean?
20 miles an hour is so slow. I don't think you understand how slow that is.
Yeah, but
just
compared to how it feels to us, if you're running at 100 miles an hour, your skin's gonna start ripping off your face. That's too fast. Too fast.
How fast does the average human run? Because I feel like 20 miles per hour is a pretty normal speed to like maneuver around. Like as long as you're not viewing it as like an airplane, like a replacement for that, it's just your way of getting around.
Treadmills go up to like 15 most of the time. Like that's what we're talking.
20 is slower. Actually, I mean, either way, you'd be the best football player of all time, but you'd be unstoppable if you could. You could be unstoppable if you could fly.
Do you think if someone could fly, they'd make rules against it?
That's the problem. That's the problem. But if you could run 100 miles an hour, you'd be like a safety hazard too.
Where's the line? If in this hypothetical world where flying becomes possible, only for some people, and they ban it in the NFL, no flying, how do they define where a jump and a fly starts? Like, where's that line? Like, if you jump but you keep going, like,
you got to start.
Then you'd have the scandals of the people that can actually fly, but they're pretending they can't to keep it secret, so that until that one time.
I was gonna say you got to start that lie super early, like at the combine, before the combine. This dude's got a 60-inch vertical.
Right. Then
House
you might
hang time over 0.4 seconds.
You might have to just outlaw jumping entirely.
This game takes place on the ground entirely now.
Tyler
Harris cries himself to sleep every night.
Tyler Higbee's like, yes, finally.
The best part about these, though, is most of these are like pretty like boring normal ones. Like, have a pink house or have a purple car. Eat chocolate on pizza or never eat chocolate again. And then you get random ones that are like sneeze and 30 butterflies appear or cough and an angry squirrel shows up.
Jesus, give me the squirrel.
Nah, dude, give me the butterflies.
Actually, butterfly sneezes. Yeah,
butterflies are going extinct or something. I don't know.
You guys, pink house or purple car? So.
Pink's my favorite color, but give me the purple car.
I'd want both.
Right.
Yeah, both are a plus for me. This is picking the better of two options.
Yeah.
Yeah, purple car, dude. It depends what kind of car, though. Like certain cars,
purple.
Sick when they're purple. Like
purple's more of a car color than pink is a house color.
Yeah, I mean, if you go down to like where my parents live down in Florida, they got some pretty sweet houses that are all colored, super fun. Like
I was gonna say, there's San Antonio's covered in colorful houses.
Yeah.
This whole city is like colorful.
You're talking to the wrong people here.
My house is like neon blue whenever you walk up to it. Like it's not like a subtle color. My girlfriend's dad is visiting right now, and the first like 4 times he visited, he would walk in and be like, "So, when you painting the house?" Like, "Oh, you guys need some help painting the house?" No, we're gonna keep it bright ass blue.
I started painting your house.
That was the last one. I thought I had another one for you guys. Hal said Flint, Michigan, tons of pink houses and other random pink things. More different colored houses or more random pink things? Let us know.
In New England, it's like the houses are the color they are is like whatever is most weather resistant. Especially on like Cape Cod. If you go on Cape Cod, the houses are just like brown shingle.
It's like gristled, weathered old man at bar is the color of the house.
Whatever could deal with salty sleet. Like the colors they choose. My dad just is like, what the heck, man? Their other house on the Cape, but I'm not wrong though. It's like old man's beard brown shingles is like the leading paint sale there.
Captain returned from sea after a long trip.
Right, yeah. Lonely widows gray.
I did see a video the other day that was talking about how the typical millennial like home aesthetic is very minimalist and muted colors, whites, blacks, grays, beiges, and that's very different from like previous generations. There were a lot more bright colors. So we are the most minimalist design, and they're saying the reason they think this is the case is go outside and look around. Look at your phone. Look at advertisements. We're getting all the color we need from the McDonald's billboard, with the Target sign, with the Walmart sign, with the KFC ad, with the GoDaddy ad. Like it's bright colors in our face all the times. It kind of makes sense that you want to come home and Maybe just have the walls be white.
Yeah, and just not have like tacky wallpaper everywhere.
Yeah. Oh man, I think wallpaper should make a comeback. I
so?
love wallpaper.
I like wallpaper in the bathroom. I think is okay, but like just having your whole wall wallpaper, that's just wild. That's wild behavior, and it's such a pain to take off. Ridiculous. Have you guys ever taken wallpaper off?
No,
you just move. Yeah, just burn it down. Dude, taking wallpaper off is a nightmare.
Or you just keep putting more wallpaper up until your house slowly shrinks because the thickness of your wall is getting bigger.
That's the move. That's the move.
Your baseboards have been eaten, or you just put the wallpaper over the baseboards every time.
Classic.
Keep it looking good. Well, guys, coming up, we are going to play some Hypothetically here. It's the game where we take hypothetical scenarios and push them to the extreme, ask as many questions as we can, and overthink the hell out of it. But right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Better Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he not? I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
no way you know.
And Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14.
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question. I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay, keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16, hold on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17, now this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. But yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had two people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into some Hypothetically real quick. I apologize. I appear to be a bit of a gastric mess this morning. Those burps are fighting me. But we're about to get into a game of Hypothetically, the game where you have to overthink everything. I'm going to give you a question, a prompt, a situation, maybe a would you rather, like some of the ones we were talking about, maybe a scenario that you find yourself in. You guys are going to be responsible for exploring that scenario, taking it down all the different avenues, alleyways, and paths, and figuring out what you would do in that instance. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
Let's start off with this one. This one's relatively simple, but I'm excited to see where you guys will go with it. Would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
How good am I at either of them? Right. Can I read minds, but it's all in French, or like?
Yeah. And is there also a weight limit on is there a weight limit on things I can move?
I'll say for both of them, you can read minds up to the range of which you could hear a person, and you can select it. For telekinesis, you can move things with your mind up to the weight of which you could actually pick up.
Oh,
so it's within your normal bounds. It just changes the method in which you can do it. So you can read minds of people within your vicinity. You can move things with your mind of the weight that you'd be able to lift yourself.
Can I telekinesis myself and then fly?
Can you lift the amount of body weight that you
I
have?
can.
Simon?
Yes.
I'll allow it because what? I think within the bounds of this question that applies. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Can I? Okay. Well, then on the other side, can I
read my own mind?
Can I read my own mind and
That's a
figure
good
out
question.
my true, deeper feelings, my inner feelings?
You know what? Because telekinesis could make you fly, reading minds can alert you of your inner subconscious psyche.
Wow.
So the things that you would discover after years of therapy, you can just discover by reading your own mind.
That's powerful.
I am a well-adjusted person.
Hey.
So the question becomes, would you rather fly or be mentally healthy?
Oh, no. Flying's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think this one has become pretty easy. Well, that's what I have to ask you. Is flying outlawed in football?
True.
Yes. Yes, flying is outlawed in football.
No, okay.
Would you rather cure your depression or fly?
Yeah.
Is what the scenarios you guys created here.
And discussing your feelings is also already outlawed in football. So
yeah,
true.
So neither one helps you in football.
And who's to say the feeling of flying can't get you there either? So
that's true, dude.
And Tommy said, "No way do I want to be in other people's minds. Hard enough to be in just mine."
Can you turn
the key to mind?
Can you turn
That's
it
what
off?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think you can turn it off. Otherwise, I think this one becomes a little bit too heavy on the other side. This is selective mind reading. You can turn it on and off. And you can target it.
Going to a concert would be bonkers. If you were in everyone else's mind and you went to Bonnaroo, oh my God. You would lose.
Yeah. Yeah. In an environment where everyone's inebriated on some substance or another, and there's tens of thousands of people, all of them on assorted substances, and you're reading all of their minds.
And you can't shut them off, dude. And
you'd either become God or go insane. Yeah, you would either ascend to godhood and immortality with the level of knowledge you just acquired, or you would go insane on the spot.
I don't think there's much knowledge that people have that would make me go to godhood. Just overall, in that crowd in particular, not a chance.
The Bonnaroo crowd isn't going to enlighten you with their thoughts.
No, highly doubtful.
Nah, dude.
I feel like this comes down to core values here. Are you lazy or are you just an evil person?
Right.
Do I want to go over there to pick up that cup, or do I just want to use the force to bring it over? Which I would, because that's sick. Or do I want to use the knowledge for bad ways? I think that's more where this fight comes from. Because what could you possibly want to learn from anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're stealing knowledge. It's like you're using, you'd be a master of business, though. Like business negotiations, you'd just be like, I know the number's 20 million. How do you know? Shake his hand, get the deal done.
Do it. I want you guys to be honest. Have you ever tried to move something with your mind?
Oh, yeah.
In earnest, look at an object and really tried to move it?
I do it in the shower 5 times a week. I'll just stand. It's right there. I could just extend my arm a little bit and grab it, but I'm like, today's the day I'm a Jedi.
Right. And it's if you don't practice, how are you ever going to get better?
Exactly.
If you don't try every day, there's a 0% chance that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Glitch.
What if yesterday was the day where it would have triggered it and would have worked, but you didn't try? You got to try at least once a day. Did you
your camera went in and out of focus a little bit there.
It kind of did. Is today the day? Is today the day?
I think we saw the first sign of progress right there. I affected the camera focus.
Very good, dude.
Which way are you guys going on this one? We'll wrap this one up. Telekinesis, moving things, or telepathy, reading things.
I got this. This is super easy, man. And it's because I'm a party guy and I'm a big lawn games fan. And if I could just make it so they miss, like we're playing bags or cornhole, whatever you call it, if I could just make it so when it matters most, just kind of, and they just barely miss, or when I'm playing like beer pong with the boys and I'm just like, nope. Like that would just make my life that much better. To just they're like, why is he so good? I'm just like, I don't know, man. Defense is the best offense. I wouldn't tell anybody.
You're Kobe in every piece of paper you ever throw as well. Like you're chucking it from across the room and then just like adjusting the path a little bit.
I miss only when I want. Like I'll put, obviously I set myself up to have my back against the ropes a lot of time. You know, like playing beer pong, and I'm just like missing on purpose until the very end. They're like, all right, shoot till you lose. You have to get 11 cups in a row. And I'm just like, donk.
Oh, that raises a lot of interesting points there, because you could become the best sports gambler on the planet. You just like influence any game that you go to, and then you do that. But if you do the telepathy thing, you could be the best game show player ever. Period.
You got to get on one. You know what I mean? That's like there's no guarantee, but you got to get on one. And then once you're on there, the rest of your career is made.
Yep.
So it's got to become your full-time job to get that first game show appearance.
Yep.
Yeah, but you just, instead of the game shows, just go to Vegas and play Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, but that you could still lose in that though.
Not if you know what everyone's cards are.
Yeah, well, if your cards are still trash, like
I guess you'd have to wait a lot. You could spend a lot of time waiting.
Yeah, if you've got enough time, you would eventually come out with money.
Yeah.
But if you've got an hour, don't go to the poker room, because you could just be dealt shit for an hour straight.
It's like 2-3 offsuit. Dope.
Thompson, you would sink so many putts. I would be the best golfer ever.
That would be sweet.
Game shows would be tough, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah, you just be a golfer. That'd be amazing. But if you hit the ball you can only control the ball when it's close to you. So.
I think in order to counter Coop, I'd take telepathy and just say, this guy's cheating. I know exactly what he's doing. He's using his telekinesis.
Yeah, and then I would just fly away. And
then we're like, see?
I'd be like, yeah. And then people would be like looking up. They'd be like, what is that, some sort of night bird? Sorry, that was a callback to
jail. Yeah, jail spotting you, pointing you out to Maria. Hey, Maria, there's another night bird outside.
Night bird. You
could become the Mothman in West Virginia lore.
During the break, I looked up to see if Nightbirds was already a band, and the band name was taken in 2009.
What kind of band are they?
Ska.
I don't know why.
Are they really? Because I immediately was going to say ska.
Immediately ska. You knew there'd be some brass in that band.
I was positive of it. Hal down here said telepathy. Can I use it to hold on to distant things, i.e. a passing plane? But you cannot, if you could have the strength to hold on to a passing plane with your hands, given that situation, then sure. But you got to get to that level of strength first. So you're probably finding another wizard who granted you these powers to give you super strength as well first. And then your telekinesis becomes more powerful.
But if you just telekinesis one bolt on the plane?
Well, why are you trying to crash planes, bro? You could be soon. Like, why? What's the matter with you?
Tim says I'm going to tighten it.
I'm going to tighten it for sure.
What's wrong with you guys? Yeah, just save it. Yeah.
Coop's flying around, but I'm going to just like grab his pants so his pants fall down when he flies off.
Use your powers to be a really good airport mechanic.
Oh, Hal said, like, I'm just trying to grab a plane to get out of danger. You can just fly yourself on out of there. Take the Coop method. You're flying away at 20 miles per hour.
Just cruising, baby.
And then you can grab onto the plane. Then you can grab onto the plane.
So
which guys, we're going to move on.
You did pick.
Which would I pick?
No, he picked telepathy. Oh, yeah. I forgot which one he picked.
Let's move on to our next hypothetically prompt. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm warmed up now, I think.
Well, John Luke is busy running the business side of the Front Yard Fantasy team. That's what he's off doing right now. But since he's gone, what would you guys do to sabotage the Front Yard Fantasy business without JL finding out that you did it? So you got to do it covertly. How are you sabotaging Front Yard Fantasy without letting JL know that it was you specifically?
Do I still have telepathy?
No, your telepathy's gone.
Damn it.
Tommy said, "Could I have infinite power?" No, that's also a no.
Okay.
Good question so far, those. You're finding the boundaries. We're putting
Yeah.
constraints on the situation. Hal said, "Make Tim the marketing director."
Yeah. Here's what
That'd probably be a good idea, dude.
we would
I
have
think
to
Tim
tag. We would have to tag team this. Here's what I would do. First thing is I would find a way to finagle my way to be a full-time co-host on their show, right? So I would spend quite a lot of time doing the show every single morning, over 100 shows, maybe like 125 Dalmatians. I'm not even sure what we're at right now.
132 or something, hypothetically like that.
Right, hypothetically. So I would do so. Maybe if I had some sort of show sheet, I would know exactly how many shows it's been, but I do not. So so that's the first thing I would do. I'd spend a lot of time doing that. And then the next thing I would do is I would convince them to bring on this guy, Tim, periodically, you know, for games like Hypothetically and things like that. And then I would kind of turn it over to Tim for the next stage of the plan.
Oh, sweet. That sounds like it's working pretty well so far.
This sounds eerily familiar.
Yeah, I don't know where I've seen it before. I think the first thing I'd probably do is try and make as many anonymous YouTube accounts as possible, and then just start ripping every single show to shreds as best as I can. I don't know how to sabotage a company, man. I'm not like a businessman. That's JL's job. He's probably doing that right now.
I would make a YouTube account and I would title it something like, I don't know, NKC Rules, right? And then I would come in every single morning and I would say hi until they said hi back. And then I would talk about the Eagles. And then after that, I pull the plug on the whole thing.
I see Tommy's got an idea in the chat. He said, replace you and Coop with him and Keith. So Simon and Coop get replaced with Tommy and Keith, and then Hal gets the right spots. So the Tim Wright and Joey Wright spots, Hal's going to get those. I don't know. Sounds like a pretty good show to me.
We should do a reverso show where you, me, and JL are the producers and Tim, and then on the show it's Keith and Erndog and Hot Pasta, and then we do like trivia questions for them, but we put a ton of grammatical and spelling errors in it, so they look stupid when they're reading them. And then the answer is like a nonsensical, not real answer. Like, for instance, James Burrow, who's not an actual person. It's just a awful spelling mistake. Does that sound familiar to anybody out there?
And if we want to get wild, we could just like omit people from all-time lists whenever the whole game is guessing members of the all-time list. That would be a pretty good way to sabotage.
That would be a really good way to sabotage the show. Yeah. Or maybe we would just like, I don't know, we'd set our alarm, maybe, and then we wouldn't plug our phone in so that we don't wake up in time in the morning. Maybe we could do that as producers. Has this turned into just us bashing Keith?
Well, Keith came in the chat and said, I'm already trying to do this, but poorly. He's like, I'm too damn good at this that even when I'm trying to be bad, I'm still pretty damn good.
He is too good, man. That's the thing. That's Keith. He can't sabotage the show because he's got too good of a heart.
I think I know an actual way. Anonymously tip off EA Sports
that we're screaming it's in the game every day on our show.
Yeah. That would actually work. Yeah.
That's not a bad one, Tim. Just put in call the EA Sports Anonymous copyright infringement tip line.
Yeah.
You could just hit up
on YouTube. Search it.
Yes, search it. You never heard from me.
If that doesn't work,
my name is Coop.
I was going to say my name's Bim Bite.
My name's Illmind Jedi. You could also do AutoZone. There's a number of copyright infringements that I believe are regularly infringed on this show.
Ow! Is that AutoZone?
It's in the beans.
Well, I think that one's ours safely. That it's in the beans.
Yeah, I think we got that one. I think we'd win that argument in court.
We'd win that lawsuit.
Who would be our lawyer representing us in that lawsuit?
In the beans lawsuit, Theo Vaughn.
Yeah. I was thinking of the dog that's like the mascot for Bush's Beans, like that golden retriever.
He would be on the other side. He'd be coming at us
above the law.
I just put it
above the
middle.
paw. Damn it, it was right there.
During the pandemic,
put him in the middle.
my girlfriend and I watched a lot of competitive cornhole, and the amount of Bush's baked beans banners that were on everything at a competitive cornhole event is absurd. Just like the boards, Bush's baked beans, big banners behind them. It's like a guy very seriously about to throw a beanbag, and it just says like "I love beans" in big letters behind him on a billboard.
They know their target audience, though.
They do.
People that watch
imagine.
cornhole, people watching cornhole on ESPN3. That's definitely the bean crowd.
That I think was my peak pandemic moment, was watching live professional cornhole on television. Like that was about as like we've been stuck in the house too long.
Right, the sports.
Exactly. like it was that, or wait until 3 a.m. for the Korean basketball league. Like I either had to stay up in the middle of the night or watch cornhole to get my sports fix.
Dude, on a side note, just the other day, Bush Beer, like they sent out a tweet that was like, with Kevin Harvick retiring, like we need to find somebody else like to sponsor. And Kyle Busch retweeted it. He was like, I think I might know a guy.
Yeah, that works out pretty well.
It would work out too well. I'm not sure if they would want that, because then people would be like, it just says Bush on his car, and they might not even think of the beer. I don't know.
That would be pretty cool. Hal in here said he has a friend sponsored by Bush's Baked Beans. He's a pro cornhole guy. I can't tell if you're being serious or not, because if you're serious, that is so cool.
If you're being serious.
Are you Bush's being serious right now?
Are you being serious? I stop beating around the bush.
He said he's serious. He's as serious as a can of beans.
Wow, that's pretty serious.
If I was, I would be sponsored by Corn.
The band?
Sponsored by Corn. I'd be sponsored by Hole.
Yeah, I'd be sponsored by Corn, the band, if I was a cornhole player. And I would come out, my intro song would be Freak on a Leash. Something takes a part of me. And then I just fire a bag right in the hole.
Tim, who are you sponsored by?
Taco Bell, without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And there's beans in there. It kind of checks out. I'm sponsored by Holes the movie, and I'm being walked out on the shoulders of Hector Zeroni every time, like dressed up like Madame Zeroni. And then I jump off the back with the beanbags in my hand, ready to go.
I appreciate how you didn't go the obvious Shia LaBeouf route, but you actually pulled another actor from that movie.
Well, I don't know the actor's name, but I know his character's name. How do you forget a man like Hector Zeroni?
Hector Zeroni, dude.
That book was one of the dumbest I've ever felt, because when the reveal came, that was like his last name is like Stanley Yelnats, and then it's like, oh, it's Stanley backwards. I was like, you got to be kidding me!
God damn it!
So stupid.
Stop it!
Stop it!
There was no need for you to do that. Like that was a reveal for no reason.
I know.
I pictured Tim just slamming the book shut.
I hated it. God, it was like he saw it in the mirror of like the glass case of peaches or whatever he was eating. I was like, oh, you got God.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hit a point in a book and I'm just like, yeah, that was the final straw.
Yep.
And I put it down. Like I'm just, and we're done with this one. And I never pick it up again.
Hermione can travel through time. All right.
I was reading American Gods by Neil Gaiman recently, and I abandoned that book. The premise was cool. It seemed like Percy Jackson for grown-ups. And then the most boring man in the world has sex with a cat. And I'm like, I'm done with this book.
Cat.
That's where I draw the line.
Yeah. That's pretty
so unless you enjoy that, I'm gonna say don't pick up American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Not my
Can you
favorite
imagine
book.
somebody that's like two people that are into that, like outside of it, and then one of them finds the book and they're like, you're never gonna believe what I found.
Yo, I was watching the you're never gonna believe it thing. I was watching the Theo Von Hot Ones. Speaking of that, and you know how we have an ongoing battle between the Arby's oven mitt and Grimace from McDonald's. Well, Theo Von was asked, what do you think about parody fast food accounts? And his answer was specifically, yo, I want to see the Arby's hat throw down with Grimace in the streets. It was the hat, not the glove. But he immediately said, Arby's is undefeated on social media. I want to see that hat throw down with Grimace in the streets. And I just paused and was like, what the
He's
hell?
seen us. He's seen us.
Bro, Theo Von is something else, man. He's just like something about him makes it so he can't be canceled, even though he should be.
I think there's an innocence in the words he said.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the thing is he's like, he might actually be stupid, so he gets away with saying things that are super inappropriate. But we're just like, you seriously know you can't say that? And he's like, what? Say what?
He's moved on already. Jay Near said, I thought Simon said American Gods was written by Neil Diamond. I think maybe I might check out that one.
I thought you said Neil Diamond. I swear you said Neil Diamond. What? Who wrote it?
Neil Gaiman. Gaimann. If that's how you say his last name.
Neil Diamond wrote a book about cat sex, dude? What?
He's the guy who...
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what the
We're in the weirdest timeline now.
Okay, I just want to clarify. The book is not about cat sex.
I'm telling you right now.
It's not now.
I love that Coop's in his parents' house, and I've seen the parents walking through. You've called him out, and you're just screaming like, "I thought Neil Diamond wrote a book about cat sex."
I'll tell you right now, dude. If there's cat sex in your book, your book's about cat sex. That's it. I'm sorry, man.
That's a motivational poster. Somebody get that.
I'm telling you though, like that's the thing people are gonna remember.
Like
that's what the people are gonna remember. Yeah,
You know what, Coop? You're right, because that's the only thing I said about that book. I didn't say anything else, and that was like 2 pages out of the like 220 that I read.
It's like peanut butter. It's like peanut butter. Like once you put peanut butter on something, it's peanut butter. That's all you taste, right? Like same thing with cat sex.
Or like banana in a smoothie. You put a banana in there, it doesn't matter what other fruits in there. It's a banana smoothie now.
Yeah.
But pro tip, that also works with rum. If you put a banana into a daiquiri, the rum disappears. You can't even taste it anymore. It just tastes like banana. And that's how you ruin a night for all of your roommates.
Dangerous.
You want to see a magic trick?
First, I make the rum disappear, and then I make your memories disappear.
The old banana time machine, boys.
I'm gonna
fast forward us right to tomorrow.
All of a sudden, you're gonna wake up someplace else, and you're gonna have no idea how you got there. Magic.
It teleports your pants.
The magic of banana. What was this hypothetically? Oh, it was the we were trying to sabotage Front Yard Fantasy while JL was gone.
I think we just sabotaged it by saying cat sex 100 times.
Yeah. That was
so we got two routes. So cat sex over and over again on the show while he's gone. Check. And then the other one is anonymous tip line to EA Sports to let them know that we've been using their slogan over and over again.
Yeah. I think that's smart. That works pretty well.
I think both would equally work as equals for sure.
I think they're working right now.
Well, guys, I think we got time for one more here. Okay. This last one is: would you rather give up air conditioning and heating for the rest of your life, or give up the internet for the rest of your life?
Oh my goodness, dude. Could I ask people to look things up for me?
Oh, you'd be so annoying. I would not go near you.
You know what?
That'd be so frustrating.
But it can't be over iMessage or over. It's got to be like in person or on a phone call, and you better make sure you're not using Wi-Fi calling or your cellular data. All of that is internet. So you got to ask them in person or on a phone call that is not using cellular data. It's just using like the cell signal.
That's bonkers.
So you can ask, but Tim's right. You're going to be annoying as hell if every time you need to know something you ask.
Tim. They're like, "Oh, Tim, you got another letter," and you're like, "Who's it from?" It's from Coop.
Jay said, "I'd rather die."
Just ignore it. Ignore that letter.
What was the other one? The air conditioning,
AC and heating.
Now, does this apply to everywhere I go? Like, if I don't want
everywhere you go, AC and heat doesn't work, and the other people around you are affected as well.
Can you light a fire?
Yeah, you can light a fire.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's gonna be difficult to fly anywhere. Probably get pretty cold up in those planes without any sort of heating system.
I didn't think about that. I don't know how airplanes work.
Nobody does. Don't worry about it.
Magnets, how do they work?
There's a show called Kunk on Earth, and she's like, but how do planes work? Do we really know? I think it's just that we all believe that they work, and they run on belief.
Tim, I never know the name of the show or the name of that woman, but every time she comes up, I fall in love a little bit.
She's so funny.
Like I just look at her and I'm like, God, you're so funny and so straight faced in all of this. I've seen that exact interview.
And we'll try to explain it without using science. I can't.
On Earth. What is her name? Diane Morgan. That's her name. She's so funny.
Yeah.
Tim's calling her every time to look stuff up.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. I don't think I could survive without the internet.
I need it. I need it bad.
I need it.
It's so important. And Scottfish makes a good point. I can do my job without AC or heating, and I can take off or add clothes. Ooh, but I can't do my job without the internet. Yeah. Very good point. It would be tough to be a fantasy analyst without the internet. Only one person's gotten away with it. That's Sean Siegel, the only person I've ever known to have successfully left Twitter but stayed within the fantasy industry. More power to him. He was the guy that, if you don't know, do you know what his most famous work was, Sean Siegel?
Hit us with it.
He wrote a little article in 2013 called Zero RB.
That's right.
Fragility of running backs. Yes. One of the most famous articles of all time in the fantasy space. But he left Twitter. He's not on Twitter, which is, I still can't believe it. And he still
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I can't do my job without air conditioning here in San Antonio. Like truly, it'll get to 100 degrees inside my house without air conditioning. Like it would be really, really difficult for me to wake up and do a 3-hour show after sweating and like peeling my skin apart in the morning, waking up out of that bed. I'm going to be dehydrated. I'm going to be pissy, and I'm going to be a lot meaner to the point where you guys probably kick me off the show.
We could also just move to San Diego, and then
that's true. That's true. I remember when I was in Hawaii, where we were at this airport, and it was just a bunch of tiki huts, and I asked them like, "What do you do if it rains?" And they just laughed at me. They're like, "This is paradise. What do you mean when it rains?"
Maybe it rains.
They've got no idea. Also, House said 100,000 years of no conditioned air people did okay. I think I emphasized the words in that sentence wrong.
I'll tell you what, Hal, they didn't have the internet either, brother.
That's true.
Wow. Coop, another Coop fact. What was the other one? If there's cat sex in your book's about cat sex.
Put that on my Twitter banner, dude. That's, it's a fact, though.
That is an all-time quote right there. Also, Scott over here said Zero RB was saying he knew what the article was about. Said, granted, it was the third iteration of that strategy, but that's the one that got the traction. We see that people build and improve off of others, and then eventually it builds that traction. Wow, and he said previously do the opposite by Paul Charchi and an upside down drafting by Matt Waldman. Where
I didn't know there was
predecessors.
I thought it was going to be like
one that was the first one.
Just different numbers of RBs in there. Yeah. Well, guys, that is going to be it for the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show this morning and for this week. But we will be back next week, Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time, like we are every single weekday. Until then, guys, make sure you're sticking around here on BSN and watch Campus to Canton tonight at 7 Eastern for college football talk, including transfers, coaching changes, spring practice previews, and more. They got news and strategies for your fantasy football dynasty leagues. And with the combine going on in full swing, you want to get ahead of the next stuff going on for next year in college. That is going to be it for us today, guys. We will see you bright and early on Monday morning. Till then, though, adios, everyone. Enjoy your Friday afternoon.
Bye.